Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.
Looking to expand your business? Let the Next Round help you. Contact us, sales@nextroundlive.com, and be part of the team. Advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential customers on our ever-expanding platforms. The Next Round can take your business to the next level. Join our existing partners in the fastest-growing media space, both live and on demand, while reaching the most desirable audience for your business. Get more information by emailing sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level using the Next Round.
When the clock hits 0, go to all Next Round video platforms for instant reactions for the latest Auburn and Alabama basketball games. Follow, like, subscribe, and set those alerts. The madness starts now, so be a part of it at Next Round Live on all social platforms.
Hang out with the Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there. Happy football season. At the Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant Denny or Jordan Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
There's no off-season at covercrimson.com. Sign up now and get daily shows plus behind-the-scenes intel that will keep your Alabama fandom rolling all the way up until kickoff. Follow Cover Crimson on all social platforms and sign up today at covercrimson.com.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
As we all know, there's no off-season when it comes to college football. If you want to stay in the know with all things Auburn, join us over on thebarnauburn.com and get $25 off your annual subscription. We'll keep you up to date and give you exclusive content all the way to the first Saturday of football season on thebarnauburn.com.
Take TNR on the go with a podcast built for your satisfaction. Miss Hour 1? Find it in podcast form. Miss Hour 2? Stream it now. Miss Hour 3? Download it for later. Miss Hour 4? Well, just know it's never coming back. Listen to TNR wherever you find podcasts.
It's time to pull the trigger on the Next Round merch that you've been eyeing. We know there's a lot to choose from at nextround.store, so here's a few of our favorite picks. If you want to match LT and Brown, go with the TNR logo hoodie and throw in one of Dunaway's favorite hats. Any of them will do. The Backroom's go-to is the classic logo t-shirt, while my personal favorite is the light blue TNR crew neck. All of these items can be found at nextround.store and are EG approved. Rest assured, your order will be packed with lots of love from us here at the Next Round. Head over to nextround.store to start filling up your cart.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Hang out with the Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com. That's nextroundlive.com.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Live show now, getting ready for a huge weekend. If you're an NFL Combine guy, that Shamar Stewart guy yesterday apparently made millions of dollars with his effort. We'll talk some NFL news coming up later on. I'll tell you what's big business in the world, sports. If anything ever happens where we can't do sports anymore, there will be billions, $470 billion worth of franchises in Sportico's top 100 list. It's up 12% if you're the number one team. We'll share that list with you a little bit later on. We got college football news to go, but of course, it is the next to last weekend in the SEC, and there are bubble games. There's a chance to break a historic streak for Auburn. There's a 1-seed double bye on the line in Knoxville. Just a lot to get to in basketball today. Brandon, why don't we start with Rupp Arena? It's been not a great place for Auburn in a long, long time. We talked about it on the basketball show last night. You talked about it this morning. Talk to me a little bit about Auburn and Rupp Arena. They don't win a lot there, do they?
I don't. It depends. 1988.
Yeah.
That's a long time ago.
See, I had hair. I was a senior in college.
I'm trying to remember.
I was about to get my driver's license.
It was one of my senior years in college.
I think I was.
You were probably in sixth grade?
12. What grade is that?
Yeah,
sixth grade? Yeah, Sachs Middle School. Coach Randy Law.
Life was about to change for you.
Oh, boy, was
Girls were about to be introduced into your life.
Coach Randy Law was my homeroom teacher there. Loved Coach Law. Good man there.
A lot of Randys in your life.
A lot of Randys. My dad's Randy Brown, yeah. I'm trying to remember. Sixth grade, you were changing classes. That was a big moment.
First time for us. We didn't do it in fifth grade.
We did in fifth grade.
I think we did in fifth grade.
We stayed with one floor, so it was there was only 4 classrooms.
You couldn't get confused.
Yep, could not.
Yeah.
We didn't change until 6.
Didn't do lockers until 6.
Oh, I didn't do lockers till 8th grade when I went to high school.
We changed in fifth grade. But
county by county. They used to do the education levels.
But 6 was periods for the first time, where it was like bell would ring every hour. You'd change class.
Yeah. I think that was 6th grade for me too.
Yeah, maybe fifth grade we would do a couple of different. We had a I think we did it 5th grade because I remember Preston Frisbee. Preston Frisbee wore golf shoes to school one day. Now, Preston, I don't think ever played around golf in his life. Yes, with spikes. That's back in spike shoes. Click, click.
Yeah, he would.
Click.
And the teacher's like, "What is that sound in the hallway?" And everybody knew it was Preston Frisbee walking up and down the hallway in golf shoes. And then once we started changing classes,
I guarantee he's not wearing socks today. Wherever he is, I bet he doesn't wear socks.
As I started telling this story, I was like, boy, I'd love to know where Preston Frisbee is, because that guy was a riot.
I think he's doing well, but he doesn't have socks on.
So
shoes, no socks.
When we would change classes, you would go out and you'd have to stay along the wall, and you would walk in a circle around the hallway and go into the class you're supposed to go in.
No talking allowed?
No talking. And Preston's in those golf shoes. And then he just decides for whatever reason.
What's that doing to the floor?
I was tearing it up. He just decided for whatever reason he was going to start running and stop and see how far he could slide on those golf shoes.
What is that doing to the floor?
What did it do to Preston's the big question. So I hadn't seen him in a while. I hope he's doing okay. He was a funny dude.
Anyway, 20 straight losses for Auburn and Rupp.
That's a lot. And some good Auburn teams have gone up there. A lot of bad Auburn teams have gone up there. But there have been some good Bruce Pearl Auburn teams that have gone up there and just can't find a way to get a win.
You know what their overall record in Rupp is?
It's funny.
Is it 2 and something?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not see that, but I think last time we talked about it, I remember it was like 2 and something.
It's 2 and a lot.
Yeah.
2 and 50.
Is Alabama even in double digits? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, but 2 and 50 is...
That's not good.
That's not good.
250 and most anything is not good.
But I feel like, I don't know if the point spread's out yet or not, what it'll be, Lance, but I feel like
I'll check my bookie a lot of times.
It's going to be a skinny number, I think, and I like Auburn a lot.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Auburn 5.5.
Yeah, and that's...
I kind of like Kentucky here.
No, man. Did you see that game the other day?
Jim, I've seen
Kentucky fought their ass off to get a win on the road the other night.
I've seen the whole SEC. You can't make one game mean something for the next one.
I will quote our man Gary Parrish, who occasionally comes on the show. He said on Grind City, whatever
That's something with Verno, yeah.
Yeah, he said... you got to just realize what Auburn basketball is. For this season right now, Auburn basketball is one golf tournament. Tiger Woods in his prime. He's got a 5-stroke lead making the turn with 9 holes to play in the tournament.
They're not losing this thing. They're going to go in the NCAA tournament as the heavy favorites to win the whole thing.
Yeah, he's actually incorrect about that.
Why?
Well, I just looked at the NCAA tournament favorites. I mean, they're barely favored over Duke.
Yeah, I would think that Duke will end up being the favorite.
Well, I don't know.
Win this thing? Mm-hmm. Oh, insanity. No way.
Well, I mean, right now at mybookie.ag, you can get Auburn plus 340 or Duke plus 360. That's
they're virtually even.
Virtually even. So I mean,
and Auburn's going to drop one more game, in my opinion.
I think what he's saying in his head that Auburn is that much better than.
Well, now they may be. They may
Duke
be.
than anybody else.
Yeah, I was just disagreeing with the point of them. I'm not disagreeing with everything he said. Just the point of them being the overwhelming favorite. I just don't think that'll be the case.
Yeah, and I think once we get there, I mean, you just look at brands. I mean, again, we're talking about an Auburn team that's 2-50 all time in Rupp. Yeah. They just don't have the tradition of Duke, and I think ultimately people are going to look at the brands. And around here, I think people might gravitate towards Auburn, but I think nationwide, I think people are going to think Duke's going to win this thing.
Again, I don't think Gary was talking about on the gambling side. I think he was saying that they are Tiger Woods with a 5-stroke lead. They're gonna win the thing in his opinion.
No, but I'm just saying, like, if people filled out brackets today, wouldn't you think the majority of brackets are probably Duke?
Yeah, just because of name.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Lamont Butler was not great in the last game for Kentucky. Jackson Robinson tried to played 12 minutes in the first half, and did not even play in the second half, may have re-injured his wrist. So both of those guys are sketchy at best as they play at Rupp Arena, 12 noon ABC tomorrow. And I don't know. This Auburn team, Janai Broome was even talking about it in the Andy Burcham courtside interview after the win at home at Neville over Ole Miss. He was like, I know the coach is different, I know the players are different, but in our head, the University of Kentucky beat us last year, and we're going up there. And he didn't say to get payback, but he was hinting that it's on these guys' radar. Give me cut 2, Tyler. Here is Janai Broome. They know about Rupp Arena, but they also know what can happen on Saturday for them. They can clinch a part of the SEC title, all of the SEC title, and he knows that is the next box to check for this Auburn team. Here's Janai Broome.
Janai, what does it mean to you and this team that you can go to Lexington on Saturday and clinch an SEC championship?
It means a lot. I'd say I'm proud of this team and the staff, for all the work we've put in, and it's finally showing a little bit. But the job's not finished. It'd be good to clinch it at Kentucky. Obviously they're a historic program, but we want to clinch it and then go to A&M, take care of business, and finish off at home. So we got. It's more than a regular season just to clinch it, but it'll feel good to clinch it our next game.
A chance for the SEC championship. We know where they are in the NCAA tournament. For Kentucky now, this is one of those seed-making games if they can pull the upset. This can get them into a comfortable one of the top 4 seeds in whatever region they end up with, maybe even to a 3 at some point.
Yeah, I've seen most projected 4. I think they could probably work their way up to a 3, especially with a win like this. And Kentucky's got 8 wins against Ken Pom top 50 defenses. And when you start to look at their resume, Mark Pope in year 1, there's been some inconsistencies, but you mentioned Butler and Robinson, finally come back this week, but still not 100%. I can't really get a gauge on this Kentucky team. I think they're good. I probably think they get to the second weekend of the tournament. But I'd be surprised if Kentucky was able to make a Final Four run.
I saw that, I guess the best gauge of this because, record-wise, Alabama's the second best team in the league. And, with my eyeballs, they're the second best team in the 1A, Auburn beat them on their home floor, so it's hard not to say Auburn's the best team in the league, right?
Oh, yeah, Auburn's the best. That's not debatable.
But I don't think Alabama is that far behind. If Alabama's second best, they're not far behind second best. They're really, really good. And you watch that game that Alabama played at Kentucky, and it took everything Alabama had to win that game that day. Absolutely everything. It felt like every possession Alabama had, if it was an empty possession, they were going to lose the game. And that day, Alabama, their defense was just good enough, and their offense was definitely good enough on the road at Rupp. And that's kind of the game I expect that Auburn will have to play up here to win that game. Now, Auburn's better defensively than Alabama.
Yeah, and that's I start worrying how Kentucky scores the basketball with their continuing injuries, and Otega Owe, who had a big game and in the win over Oklahoma. he just has been shut down by, when Kentucky loses, he's been shut down by really good teams. Alabama did a good job defensively against him. Arkansas did a great job defensively against him. Auburn and Kentucky go at 12 noon tomorrow. Bama and Tennessee go at 3 o'clock on ESPN tomorrow. In that game now, it feels like, LT, the loser of that contest, I mean, Alabama could get back into the 1-seed conversation with Florida and Auburn, but I feel like Alabama-Tennessee loser of this one could be off the one line. They could be destined to be a 2-seed in the NCAA tournament. Not that that's a big deal, but it feels like you're playing for that. I think you're playing for double bye in the SEC tournament to where you don't have to play until Friday in this game. It's a lot on the line technically. I'm not major stuff. You're not NCAA tournament or not, but I mean, a 1-seed in the NCAA tournament, double bye in the SEC tournament, this could be a big game.
Yeah, I agree. Tennessee has won 6 of their last 7, including 3 top 15 wins over Missouri, Florida, and Texas A&M. So they're playing really good basketball right now. Obviously, Alabama is as well. But I do agree the loser of this behind the 8 ball when it comes to getting a 1-seed, I don't know ultimately how important that is. We shall see. I would think in this game, Tennessee is a 3.5-point favorite.
I'm bad at that, but that seems about right. Alabama playing at Tennessee is always a tough matchup. If you give me cut 4, this is Chris Youngblood. Since he's come back, this is where I like this Alabama team, Brown. They score at the rim a lot more than they did last year. But now with Youngblood out there, this team has another shooter. And Chris Youngblood talks about his improvement since he got back from the injury that kept him getting off to a slow start.
What's been the key to getting comfortable now that you're healthy and becoming a big part of this offense?
Oh, continue to let the game come to me. Don't try to press. And, the game, rewards, the people that respect it and play it the right way.
I mean, if you could get Mississippi State Chris Youngblood every night, holy crap, how good would this team be?
It was so funny in their hard hat, Brownie. They showed the video, and before they handed it out, I think they gave it to Grant Nelson after the Mississippi State game. But as the video starts rolling, you hear one of the players was like, "Dang, Grant, see why? We should play Mississippi State every night."
I mean, if he could, he'd be an All-American. That guy tears Mississippi State up. But, I mean, this is – you see this a lot of times, Lance, in postseason basketball, is for whatever reason a guy's been injured all year. He finally gets healthy and his game clicks. A guy has struggled all year. And sometimes this doesn't make any sense that this would happen, but it does happen. The flip of the calendar, when it turns to March and when we're done with the regular season play and you go into tournament play, a lot of times a switch just flips for a guy. And it can be the difference in making a Final Four or not, winning a national championship or not. And you wonder, do you look back at a guy like Chris Youngblood and say, boy, I tell you what, man, when it got to March, that guy decided to play some basketball.
Well, maybe the most important moment for Alabama getting their first Final Four last year was Grant Nelson against UNC, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you had Jaron Stevenson had a big game.
Against Clemson.
Again, Grant Nelson had a big game. I mean, there was always that one guy that had that big game.
Yeah.
But you see it a lot in a tournament. It's like a guy just has his best game or his best run of basketball in a tournament. And you never know who that might be for Auburn or Alabama or, for that matter, Tennessee or Florida or anybody.
Big basketball happening tomorrow. You got A&M in Florida, 12 versus number 3, 7:30 SEC Network. Bubble games with Oklahoma, Ole Miss, Georgia and Texas, Missouri and Vandy. So a lot of fun happening tomorrow. That's just on the SEC all over the country as we a week. See, what's this? We're like 16 days away from Selection Sunday. So we're getting down to the good stuff in college basketball. What's going on in the college football world with developing news this morning after Brownie tells us about our friends with the Birmingham Stallions getting ready for their first home game coming up April the 11th. You can get season tickets now at a very affordable, family-friendly price.
You can, and you go see them play Arlington in that first game, right back the 3-time defending champ Birmingham Stallions back in Birmingham. For unforgettable moments that you'll love, start them on Friday, April 11th, 7 o'clock. Stallions home opener against the Arlington Renegades. And fireworks after the game. So after game fireworks, good show downtown. Get your tickets at UFLstallions.com. That's UFLstallions.com.
And our friends at Michelson Laser Vision as they get you ready for the rest of your life, whether you're in your 20s, 30s. It was a decision you made very young, man.
Yeah, I made it over 20 years ago. I wore the contacts for like a decade. I was wasting money each and every year on the contacts and solution. Finally went to see Dr. Mark Michelson, got the procedure done. I now have 20/15 vision, better than 20/20. Make the phone call that I made, 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. She's going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. You have zero to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. 205-969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com.
All right, so we're getting to spring practices now, and Kalen DeBoer made a comment to On3 Sports that I agree with. But I think it was an eye-opening comment as they get ready to go out there. It was about revenue sharing, and I'll paraphrase it here, but it was when revenue sharing starts, it'll get Alabama back to where it's a balanced playing field. And he goes on to say back when recruiting is, back to normal recruiting was about relationships and such and not just the highest bidder. When you hear that comment and level playing field, balanced playing field coming from the Alabama head coach, is there a chance that was for some Alabama fans, it was the first time that they realized that maybe in a wild, wild west situation where highest bidder, that maybe they're not in the best situation when it comes to highest bidder? I mean, do you perceive Alabama, if we don't get to some kind of rules and regulations, that they can keep up with the Texases and the Ohio States of the world?
I don't think financially they can, no.
Yeah.
In the NIL world, I just don't think Alabama is positioned to do that. Now, could they get close enough that it's not going to matter? Yeah, because, NIL dollars can only go so far.
Yeah, it's still Alabama.
Yeah. It's still gonna be Alabama.
And I still think this is going to be an example of Dodgers, Yankees, if we get to this point. And what I mean by that is the Dodgers went from 1988 to 2020 without a championship, and they spent as much money or more money than anyone.
Yeah.
The Yankees,
during that time, they were spending a lot of money. They were never cheap. They just never won it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And it's the same with the Yankees. So, I think the Ohio States and the Texas, we're always going to see them in the college football playoff, but I do think there's going to be opportunities for other teams to still win national championships.
Yeah. But to your point, you couldn't buy a championship then, and Ohio State, some would say, bought a championship. But that didn't always work this year, right? They didn't buy – I think when we talked about Ohio State buying a championship, we thought it would look a lot different. Now, ultimately, they lifted the trophy. But they didn't go 15-0 and win a championship. There were a lot of struggles there. Their coach was on the hot seat, believe it or not.
Yeah, and I do think if Notre Dame would have somehow won that game, they probably do a deeper dive. We talked about numbers yesterday with the NFL polling that Patrick Mahomes is the 8th most penalized quarterback, or however that wording is. So I don't know. I think you could maybe position this a different way, or the way you wanted to.
Yeah. But back to your question, is Alabama a poverty program? No, Alabama's not a poverty program.
No, I'm sure people around the country saw, Alabama wants a balanced playing field. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't think Alabama by any stretch of the imagination is a poverty program, but does Alabama have the guy like Texas Tech has? Texas Tech now has, and I keep bringing this guy up, and I'm fascinated to see how this goes, but this is not just
only 4 out of the 5 shows this week.
Yeah, this is not just some.
I think you want to be him.
But this is like
he's got $4 million.
This is a kind of an anonymous T. Boone Pickens, right?
It is. I've never heard of the guy, Double Eagle, Petroleum or whatever. But
it doesn't even sound real.
It really doesn't. No, it 100% sounds like something you'd see on Landman or Dallas or
horrible name, Double Eagle.
Oh, he's on them rednecks up in Lubbock.
Yeah.
But this guy he's not just like some random Texas Tech fan that sold his company for $4 billion. This guy literally founded their NIL program. He was the guy that was
NIL. I'm going to help us out. Let's do this.
Let's start the collective.
Joe, you're in, right? Tony?
Yeah, but here's how we need to do it.
But again, rich people, or we should call this guy a wealthy person, they get there from being really smart with their money.
That is correct.
So how long do they continue to dump in? If Texas Tech is showing results and they're progressing, then I could see that. But, you get 4 or 5 years deep, you don't go to any college football playoffs, and you're spending millions and millions of dollars, that might get a little old.
Well, and I've always said
guys. I'll see you later.
And I've always said that is, these guys expect return on investment on their money. And I don't know. Like, I guess anybody that spent a ton of money to help Ryan Day out felt like they got return on their investment, right? Now, they probably didn't after the Michigan game, but they did once they lifted the trophy. I don't know how you grade return on investment if you're a billionaire at Texas Tech. I mean, you be Double Eagle Petroleum guy. You invest, I don't know, you've got $4.1 billion. You invest anything you want in their NIL. What's a return on investment for you?
I want Arizona State. I mean, I do. I want to win the Big 12. I want to get to the college football playoffs. I want to be competitive, which they were. You know, they should have beaten Texas. Fact of the matter, they had Texas 4th and 13 in overtime. But if I can get that, if I can extend my season, that's all you can really ask for. It is unrealistic. You know, Texas Tech had a moment with Chris Beard, with a guy like Jarrett Culver. They could have won them a national championship in basketball. It will never happen in football.
Yeah, but my point was going to be Alabama, I don't think's got one of those guys. I don't think Greg Byrne has a $4 billion guy. He could pick up the phone and say, okay, here's the price tag of what we need. I'll tell you this story.
They do it by a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's harder to do.
It is harder to do, yeah.
I'll tell you this story. This is from an SEC school. It was told to me secondhand, but I trust the person that told me this. So he's got a friend that's in fundraising on this NIL type stuff this NIL stuff for a prominent SEC school.
Yeah, by the way, I'm getting to what the price for each position is according to a survey by The Athletic.
So he said, I talked to my buddy and asked, how's this whole NIL stuff going? He goes, oh, it's awful for me. He goes, really? He goes, why? He goes, you know Jim Dunaway? He goes, yeah. He goes, good friend of mine. We've been friends for 30 years. Friends for 30 years. He's like, Jim was successful. He's got a lot of money. He's a big fan of this school. And he said, I've had to call him as the NIL stuff is growing. We need another 100,000 here. We need another 500,000 here. So I lean on him. And he said, I recently called him, and he said, I'll pay this time, but don't ever call me again.
Yep.
And he goes, this guy has given to this program, this SEC program, for years. Yeah. And he said, I think you'll still give, but he said, don't ever call me again.
Yeah.
And
it burns the friendship.
And my friend said, do you think that meant on the friendship? Because I don't know. I've texted him something. He doesn't respond.
Yep.
So I don't know. I mean, this is not sustainable for a lot of these people. And this guy's apparently got a whole lot of money, and he basically just told him, leave me alone. Yeah. Quit calling me to pay for players.
Here's the stress that's on the boosters right now and the people that raise NIL for places like Alabama and Auburn. The Athletic did a survey of coaches, both in the Power and the Group of Five. But the going rate in the Power Four conferences for a starting quarterback, according to the survey, coaches that are anonymous, letting you in on the real numbers. This isn't on-3 evaluation.
Right.
It is hard numbers from these coaches. A starting quarterback is in the range of $900,000 to $1.5 million.
Sounds about right.
There are some that will be less than, some that are more than that, but that's in the range of $900,000 to $1.5 million.
And I feel like I can judge my return on investment easier at that position than any position, right?
I would agree.
Yeah.
Yep. A high-end wide receiver, they said, high-end wide receiver was the biggest jump year to year. That the high-end wide receiver was the hot commodity in the portal. I will just throw out that.
I would think that these numbers probably end up mirroring what you kind of have in the NFL.
Yeah, but the high-end wide receiver, according to The Athletic, was the hot thing everyone was after. I guess they were limited that was in the portal, but that was where you were going to have to overspend to get it. I will just say that a lot of people considered Eric Singleton, the kid from Georgia Tech that went to Auburn, as maybe the number one receiver prospect in the portal.
He was up there. Yeah.
If you want to connect the dots, this is probably the neighborhood that Auburn ended up paying $1 million for a wide receiver.
Now, while I said return on investment is easier to grade at quarterback, if I got Ryan Williams, Jeremiah Smith for around $1 million, that is a steal. And those guys are they're the ones that would have skewed that number. Now, neither one of them were in the portal that we know of, obviously. Or we're talking about going to a portal, or we don't know what they got paid to stay at their place.
That's right. Yeah.
So you don't know, but they would be on the high end of that.
I do find it interesting if you had this billionaire dude from what is it called, Double Eagle Point?
Yeah, Double Eagle Petroleum or whatever it is.
If you had this guy that was like, hey, 1 year I just want to see, I'm going to spend as much as possible, and let's see if this thing works out. If you really could buy a championship in Lubbock.
Well, I mean, it depends on how, apparently they overpaid for everyone they got.
Here's the dude. Forster just pulled him up.
Does that look like new money to you?
You know, as soon as you roll this out, Brown, and this goes back to the old analogy, but when you say they've got a billionaire, Alabama doesn't have that type of guy, and then people are like, well, you've got, 10 multimillionaires.
Yeah.
But it goes back, 1 million seconds takes how long?
37 years?
11 days.
11 days.
Yeah. What is
hold that answer.
I'd say 1 million seconds is 11 days.
That's right.
1 billion seconds is what?
37 years.
31 years.
I knew what you were thinking about.
So I mean,
I don't listen to the question.
But I think that is one way to put it in perspective. Like 1 billion to 1 million is a massive difference.
Yeah.
So if you have a billionaire that's truly behind your program, it could be a game changer.
Okay, I've got from that same athletic from the Athletic.
There you
that
go.
Same article, 5 outrageous NIL requests from this off season. I want to get to those.
Are you talking about like basically like a concert writer for?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Wait till you hear these.
This is again why Nick Saban's not coaching.
Wait till you hear these. Now, some of them are not outrageous. Some of them are just money for a guy who played a certain number of snaps. Show being brought to you by 2 great sponsors. One of them, our friends at Odie's. Tell us about Odie's.
Great place to go this weekend. Live music tonight, tomorrow night. Incredible food all weekend long from Rodney Davis. But 2 locations, the original in Crestline, newest location in Edgewood. Stop in, see Will Haver and that great staff. Ice cold beer buckets full of the Bud Light, the huge Odie's Famous Cup cocktails. Again, live music tonight, tomorrow night. Both locations, Odie's Tavern.
Anonymous coaches from the Athletic. I'll start on the less outrageous one. An offensive lineman who played 19 snaps last year. 19 snaps last year. Came in and said, I need $300,000 or I'm hitting the portal. And the coaches looked at each other like,
you're joking?
They said, they're like, we're not even sure he's going to play 19 snaps this year. And he wants $300,000.
It's going to be a lot per snap right there. I don't think I can do that one.
They told him to have a Coca-Cola and a smile, and he hit the road. This guy was an offensive tackle. He wanted $715,000, a car that he would keep, and the use of a house while he was playing for that school that would be rented for him. There, not a townhome, house with a yard.
I'm relatively certain a prominent SEC quarterback had somewhere near that deal, but this was an offensive lineman.
Yep, offensive lineman, offensive tackle, $715,000 for 1 year.
Well, the money I don't know about. Yeah,
a car, and I need a house.
A car and a
with
house
with a yard. I
need a yard. He's got a Labrador, I'm sure.
Yeah, a car and a house. Is that a shot at Labrador owners?
No. I'm just saying that he needs a yard for the dog, right?
A car and a house, I think, was kind of the currency a major player used to use before the cash was a thing.
Well, wouldn't you think that
the cash on the open market was that we knew about? Was
everyone wants these things. The unfortunate thing is, I bet 90% of these kids aren't asking for it.
By the way,
I got one that came from agents. The rest of these, according to the Athletic, came from players.
Car and a house was Reggie Bush, right? That's not who I was talking about.
Yeah, but again, it was for his family. No, I'm just saying that. Do you really think the players are the ones that came up with this in their head, or was it, was it dad? Was it mom?
Yeah, no, it was sitting around the family table, maybe with an agent. An offensive tackle in the portal wanted $750,000 and a guarantee that he'll play at least 90% of the snaps.
Oh wow!
And
that might be the most outrageous one yet.
Oh, here we go.
You say the best for last?
These 2. One of them. I need you to think outside the box. I'm talking crypto and gold bars.
Okay.
Gold bar. You get those at Costco now, though.
And these are anonymous coaches, but the response from the coach was, I don't even know what the hell crypto is.
I was going to say, can you imagine this conversation with Sam Pittman?
Yeah, crypto. Can you get gold bars at Costco? Am I right, Tyler?
Yes, they sell out frequently, though.
Oh, do they? Okay.
Yeah, I thought they only have, obviously it's a limited amount, right?
Yeah.
You listen to any conservative radio, gold bars, what are the
silver, all that.
What is the energy, the family pack of food?
Oh, the Patriot family pack or whatever. Yeah.
Last you like 30 years.
And now the solar power pack, because when we get kicked off the grid, that's how that'll be the next thing that happens. We got to have that.
So dude said, think outside the box, crypto and gold bars.
I need you to think outside the box, crypto and gold bars. And the best one of all, forget He asked for all the money requests and all that, but his one thing on top of it all, that would be babysitting. I need babysitting for my kid.
I mean, that's actually. I actually kind of
It's
respect
admirable.
that.
It's
one. That's
admirable,
admirable. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and
I'll need babysitting.
Probably could get one of these. Do they still have the hostesses that?
Oh yeah, they take the recruits
when
around.
is it going to get to a point where somebody's like, "Hey, I want a property in Tuscaloosa. Like, I want to become kind of a slumlord early on. I want a bar. I want to start really getting into real estate."
You can read the whole article at The Athletic if you're a member. It's behind a paywall. It's a really cheap subscription. I use it all the time. Love that place, and I love that website, and just really interesting material there. A lot more in that story than what I just gave you there, including some of the big names, portal names that they thought were big winners, and a lot of other stuff there. But I mean, babysitting and gold bars and crypto and
different
guaranteed snaps, and you wonder why coaches are leaving. We got a head coach that left today. A head coach in college football that left today to go be an assistant in the NFL. We'll tell you who that is when we come back. A lot more football and a lot more college football to get to today. The show being brought to you by our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Our friends UCA are right there. They got 16 wonderful locations. 930-0920 here in the 205. 930-0920. Urology Centers, Alabama.com. 16 locations. Prostate health, kidney stones, everything in between. If you get to that point in your life where you're ready to shut it down, as far as new kids, they'll take care of a vasectomy for you and everything else. 16 locations and the best doctors in the business. Urology Centers, Alabama.com. Urology Centers, Alabama.com.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from the Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness. Hey friends, if you're looking to expand your business and inform the Next Round audience about your exciting brand, contact us at sales@nextroundlive.com to be part of the team and advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential consumers on our ever-expanding platform. Let the Next Round help take your business to the next level. Get more information by emailing us at sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level with the Next Round.
Since you listened to my last message so well and got rid of those cargo shorts and stained t-shirts, it's time to replace them with Roback. Go to roback.com and click on the Refresh collection to find all that you need for an EG-approved wardrobe. It includes pieces that will have you ready to hit the golf course after a busy day of meetings, or comfy favorites for travel and working from home. Get 20% off using code TNR20. See, I'm saving you some money.
Think about the best summer nights of your life. How many of those were in a great t-shirt? Visit nextround.store to get the perfect t-shirt for the next perfect southern night. Nextround.store. The memories are waiting.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you. Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone, the New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
All right, little developing news, couple of them actually. I just got a text from a buddy. About Alabama's A-Day.
Saw that.
Yeah, tell you about that after LT tells you about our buddy Dr. B.
Dr. B, best in the business. You start thinning out. It doesn't matter if you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, whenever it happens. Be preemptive. Make the phone call that I made to Dr. Beckenstein and that great staff, 205-319-0316. For more than 20 years, women and men have turned to Dr. B for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. He will use that experience, his advanced training, and genetic testing to help his patients fully understand the procedures they are considering. They've got that T3 new test, so easy, painless, affordable, takes 4 seconds to perform. It's going to show which medicines and compounds will specifically work for your hair loss. There are over 10 categories of agents they can use, knowing they will work for you. They will custom compound these agents for you in pill or topical form. You pick, choose which agents you want. Men and women are ordering Hims, other products online. Don't even know if they work. Stop wasting your money and critical time while you're losing your hair on treatments that aren't working for you. Go see Dr. B and the great staff. Find out what will work. 205-319-0316 or t3hair.net.
Let's go with the developing news first in coaching circles, and then I'll give Forrester time to pull up this text that was received just a few minutes ago by Yay Alabama members and Alabama season ticket holders. But this morning, Brownie Bowling Green head coach Scott Loeffler left his post, according to reports.
Man down. Yeah, he has been at Bowling Green for, I think this is year 6 for him. He's made 3 straight bowl games, which... He's been around 500, like 7-6, 6-7 every year by Bowling Green standards.
I don't know because you go back and obviously Urban Meyer, really good. You look at oh my gosh, who was the late Syracuse coach?
Paul Pasqualoni?
No, after him.
Greg Robinson.
Nope.
Dino Babers.
Dino Babers. Yeah, Dino Babers had really good years at Bowling Green. It was really a fun high-octane offense right there in the MAC for a while.
Yeah, so I don't know what Bowling Green expects, Jim, but this guy maybe, and the only reason I bring up the record is maybe he's entering the year on the hot seat. I don't know, but he has left his post today, as Jim said, to take the quarterback's coach job with the Philadelphia Eagles. Obviously, there's been some restructuring in their offensive coaching room because their offensive coordinator took the New Orleans Saints job, So Loeffler, college football head coach at Bowling Green, not even getting fired. I mean, he's got a whole nother season to coach. We're in March now, basically, is walking away to become a position coach in the NFL. This is stuff we never used to see.
Yeah, I don't think it's that. I mean, I think it's kind of an upward move. I think he's kind of stuck in mud right now at Bowling Green. You've got Kevin Patullo is the new OC, never called plays before. He's going to be the guy. There's going to be a ton of pressure on him after winning a Super Bowl.
I thought Lance was giving us the new Bowling Green OC, and I was about to say that's a toast to you, my friend.
But Loeffler comes in now. He's quarterback's coach. If it works, then maybe this guy ultimately gets a job, and then he progresses and he becomes an OC. And I don't know. I think at 50 years old, I think it's a better move for him.
Well, he was with Auburn in 2012, as you said. That was not a great year.
Not a great year. One of the worst SEC teams we've ever seen, 2012 Auburn, unfortunately.
He was the OC then.
Yeah.
He's 27-41 at Bowling Green, you told me. So it wasn't going great. But if I go there, if you're a coordinator eventually in the NFL, that opens the door for you to be a head coach in the NFL or back to college.
Yeah.
So, I can see where it's easier for me to get to a better job that way than staying at Bowling Green.
Yeah, and I think he even come back and become an OC again in college and making $1.5–2 million. Who knows? I just don't remember any of his stops being good offenses.
No.
I mean, you go from Temple to Auburn to Virginia Tech, Boston College.
Scott, in the MyBookie.ag chat room, Scott Forrester described his offense as horrific at Auburn.
Yeah.
Unwatchable. They were terrible.
Scott, that whole team was bad, though. That 2012 team was
but
awful.
Offense was brutal.
No, it was.
Who was the quarterback?
Oh, who was?
Jeez.
It was the guy after.
That was right after Cam.
Barrett Trotter started the year right after Cam, right?
Was it Clint Mosley?
Clint Mosley, I think it was, yeah. Clint Mosley.
Was it?
Yep.
So was that the bridge to Nick Marshall?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's the crazy thing is the next year, Scott came in and had one of the best offenses in college football.
Without
Wasn't Kyle Frazier, was it?
I'm pulling up the stats right now to see who got the most starts. I do think it was Clint Mosley.
It was a lot. It was.
Wasn't good. Whatever.
You can't judge your OC when you have a quarterback room like the guys you're naming right now. No disrespect, but between Cam Newton and Nick Marshall, I get judged on those quarterbacks. Come on.
Is Nick Marshall a borderline top 5 quarterback of all time for Auburn?
You instantly go Newton and Pat Sullivan. You got to throw in.
I'd go Damian Craig before.
Before who?
I mean,
before
him. Marshall.
Yeah,
Stan White.
I mean, Marshall did more than Damian Craig did. I think you got to throw in Jason Campbell because he was unbeaten.
Yeah.
Should have been in the national championship.
Good Lord, Damian Craig and Gus Malzahn's offense
would be crazy.
Would have been insane.
I think that's the thing is probably the results on the field weren't as great, but you just think about the potential for Damian Craig.
No, I mean, Damian Craig would probably make my top 5 now.
Where's Stan White, though?
But he was unbeaten in '93.
And he was a 4-year starter.
4-year starter. Won a bowl game as a freshman. I mean, and you go back to 1983, you're handing off to Bo Jackson, but you still have to be pretty good at that.
Yeah, and speaking of Bo's, I mean, how is Bo Nix not a top 5 quarterback of all time for Auburn?
Meanwhile,
But he's not.
But he's a starter in the NFL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's probably not even top 10 when
that's
you
what
go
I was
through
about to
it.
say. We're starting to name these. He may not make the top 10.
Yeah, based on his time at Auburn.
I mean, he could ultimately have the greatest NFL career for an Auburn quarterback. I doubt he will. I doubt he'll surpass Cam. But can you imagine if he did and he's not even a top 10 quarterback at Auburn?
It's going to be weird. We're going to have some of that moving forward in college football based on the way things work now.
Yeah.
But anyway, Scott Loeffler leaves a head coaching job to go to the NFL pretty late in the game.
Yeah, a lot on Scott Loeffler there. I didn't know we'd get that deep into it, the Auburn quarterback history.
Yeah, you let him get to
But
Auburn.
by the way, Jalen Hurts has accomplished more than the majority of Alabama quarterbacks ever have, right?
He's won a Super Bowl.
Played in 2, won 1.
I mean, Bart Starr 1-2, Kenny Stabler, Joe Namath.
Would Hurts be in your top 10 at Alabama?
On field, no.
Yeah.
I don't think. Do you guys?
I'd have to stop and count. It's going to be close.
Yeah. Anyway, to Alabama's A-Day, this is sort of interesting, and it could be just the wording. I understand that, as a guy who sends out messages, sometimes it doesn't always make sense, but this has been sent to me now by 3 different people. A-Day, 12 noon, the time. There's the announcement, April 12th. We already knew it was April 12th, but here's how it's being phrased in the text. Yay, Alabama, breaking. Alabama's annual A-Day event on April 12th will start at noon Central. More details of the day's events to follow. RTR.
No game.
Tech stop to opt out.
It's no game.
A-Day event, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't say A-Day game.
Punt and kick, or pass, punt, and kick. I don't know what they're going to do, but they're going to do something besides play.
Now, according to multiple reports, and I think it was Charlie Potter that first reported it, I thought this is where you were going with it. Charlie Potter, who covers Alabama for On 3, according to Alabama, there will be no broadcast, no live broadcast of the 2025 A-Day. He says game, but your text says event.
Yeah.
Which
there's no way you would word an event if it's a game. Now, maybe there is a semblance of a game as part of the event, but an event is an event, right?
Yeah, and Hugh Freeze well documented that he wants to do away with spring football altogether and go to the OTAs that, Sark's going to do this year, Ohio State's doing it, USC's doing it.
What if you got to
the George AD I told you yesterday says we're having a G Day this year. but we're not committed to any year after this year. These things are dead. They're going away.
As a fan, would you be more excited? You show up to Bryant-Denny and there's like 25 basketball goals, and they've got a 3-on-3 tournament set up.
Yeah,
with just different guys on the 3-on-3. Do you think fans might be more excited about that than watching the A-Day?
You take one end zone. There's no goalpost up, but there's 3 bases, and it's a wiffle ball field. And you're playing home run into the stands. You're hitting it into the student section.
I think we forget that nobody used to go to these events. Nobody attended these events until...
I would guess Alabama's crowd usually for A-Day was between 20 and 30,000.
It was Nebraska that always had the big numbers, it seemed like.
And then it became a way to show support for your new football coach. Alabama,
Nick Saban's first year,
Alabama started that. I mean, I'll give Alabama credit for that. When Nick Saban got hired, Alabama fans, I think with genuine excitement, wanted to see something from Nick Saban, so they showed up in record numbers to Alabama's 8A game.
He sort of queued it up. He was like, "Hey, we're going to be on national television. For recruit. Basically, he was telling everyone for recruiting. Let's show them what Alabama football is all about." 92,000 that game.
Yeah, and it became, and a lot of people looked at that and they were like,
That looked good.
That looked good. We got a new coach. Alabama showed support for their coach this way. Let's do it this way. So then it became a thing like, hey, we've just hired X coach. Let's show our support for him. So then everybody started filling up their spring games, and it became a thing. And for a minute, these things were actually pretty healthy to the point that ESPN was like, heck, we'll just show them live on TV. I mean, spring games, you couldn't find.
Oh, they were all over the place.
Yeah, you couldn't find footage from spring game anywhere. Then ESPN just said, we'll start showing the dang things live, man.
Yep.
And now we've cycled all the way back around to where they're about dead. I would say, based on all that you've said right here, if you enjoy spring 8A in Tuscaloosa and probably Auburn too, I'd go this year.
Both on April 12th. This would be your last one.
Yeah,
right?
I think I'd go this year. If you really, really enjoy those events, I'd go this year.
Yeah.
Because this might be your last chance.
I would venture to say that by the time we get to next spring, there will be rules in place by the Power Four that would allow you to spread out a certain number of practices, even in June, if you want to.
Yep.
They'll just say, this is how we're going to do it, like the NFL. You can do, 5 practices here in helmets and shoulder pads, and then you can do 5 practices here and 5 break them up those 15 practices or 20 practices, however you want to do it before you get to camp. Interesting.
Jace hits on an idea we've touched on before. And I think it's even more meaningful now. Jay says, why would you not just schedule an FCS game and actually charge for tickets? And TV would probably show it now.
I'll tell you why.
Okay.
It's why it's why it's a big story to Charlie Potter and the guys that this game's not going to be broadcast. Why am I going to play a game and show you you my new offense and defense, even if it's the base, players that are new to my team? I mean, if I'm that Auburn wide receiver room that was heralded, that recruiting class 2 years ago, right? So those guys are coming back, and now you got Eric Singleton that's coming in. Well, now I'm one of the guys in the Auburn wide receiver room. I may not be, I obviously wasn't the top guy. We know who the top guy was. You got Cam up at the top, but then here comes Singleton. So I'm one of those 4 or 5 star recruits that's, wait a second now, they brought in somebody else who's this great guy from Georgia Tech. So I'm going to go out there, catch a couple of balls in a FCS game. Next thing you know, I'm getting a big offer to hit the portal again.
Yeah, or the other side that we brought up a couple of weeks ago, if you're in Tuscaloosa and you're Austin Mack and you're like, damn, we're playing Jack State, but I got 3 reps and I was 3rd or 4th on the depth chart, and the writing is on the wall, I'm not going to play this year, then I'm out.
And y'all made that argument, the argument I was going to make, because I was going to say, we had talked about this as a way to play these FCS games and give them a little money. Yep. Because these things are going to go away. I think there are going to be fewer and fewer FBS versus FCS games moving forward in the college football playoff era. I was actually going to say, and y'all made the point on the FBS side, I was going to say the FCS team, it could be a nightmare for them. Imagine for one moment, you've got a good wide receiver you've managed to somehow keep.
And he lights up that secondary.
He lights up an SEC secondary. Yep. Everybody in the world's going to want him in that next transfer portal.
Yeah, he might not get out of the stadium.
Yeah, he may not leave.
I mean, seriously.
You'd actually start planning the game is, I think we want to play Middle Tennessee because we sort of like their running back.
Yeah, I'd like to see him against our D line.
We get him down here and make him an offer while he's in the visiting locker room.
Oh, everybody
Let him come to this locker room.
Everybody wants to play North Dakota State.
Yeah. Come on down, guys. Yeah. Interesting there. Appreciate all the Alabama and season ticket holders who were dropping that text to me as it went out at 9:15. It looked like this morning. Alabama A-Day event, and we'll see if that's just wording there or if it ends up being any semblance of a game or a 7-on-7 flag football, legends versus leaders. I don't know what we'd end up doing there.
I don't know as a fan what would excite me though.
Probably a day at the lake.
Yeah,
a day on the golf course. Yeah. Well, they keep Auburn for years.
I'll tell you what will excite either A-Day, that they honor the national championship winning basketball team at halftime of the A-Day game.
That would get a better crowd than the game.
Either at Auburn or Alabama. If one of them, what would that be, about 8 days earlier or just a few days earlier winning the national championship in San Antonio, that would pack out the stadium. Hey, come celebrate the basketball national championship at A-Day, either at Jordan Hare or Bryant-Denny. We're going to honor the basketball team at halftime.
It seemed like for years, and I know TV dictated this to a certain extent, but it seemed like for years Auburn's A-Day game was always Masters Saturday, which there is some crossovers, not just guys like me.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot.
There's a lot of fans that...
I mean, even me, I'm not a golf guy. I would much rather watch Masters Saturday than a spring game.
And I just always thought that was such a crap deal for Auburn fans that were also big golfers. They kind of wanted to go see A-Day, but Masters Saturday, if you're any sort of golf fan, is a big deal.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys did this before you got married, but we did 2 or 3 sessions with the person that was going to perform our ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
And, you went and met with them 2 or 3 times, so they got to know you a little bit, talked a little bit about faith. And
they could say that corny joke.
Work in the marriage and all that. So one of ours, and this is probably an indicator that Maggie and I would butt heads about things all the time, it may have been our last one or whatever, but it was Master Sunday in the afternoon. And
Are you kidding me?
Wow.
I said, we're going where?
Well, it started early with you.
I was like, oh, my God.
Boy, I tell you what, one of the bigger mistakes, it's not a big mistake, but I agreed years ago to MC a charity event without checking the calendar. And then the moment I put together that charity event was Master Sunday, boy, did I regret saying yes to that.
Now, speaking of charity events, are you in tomorrow? I know you are, right?
The chili cook-off? I can't do it. Yeah, I am not.
Exceptional Foundation chili cook-off again.
Did you see my panic when Lance asked me that?
What? I knew I had plans tomorrow already. I didn't know which charity event y'all were doing. Johnston RV Center brings us part of the show today. One more thing to get to before we get to the top of the hour. Todd Fuhrman will join us to talk about the games on the court tomorrow. The big one at Rupp and the big one up at Thompson Bowling. Is it still Thompson Bowling or is it Pilot Arena now or something?
I think they still go Thompson Bowling.
Yeah, I think it is.
For a minute, though, I thought they changed the name. I thought they sold it Food City Arena. Am I wrong about that?
I don't know.
I thought I remember that story. Anyway, Johnston RV Center, I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. They're still there. Still under that same name, Johnston RV Center. You can find great deals right now. In fact, you can get in something as low as $129 a month with approved credit. From toy haulers to fifth wheels to tow behinds to motorhomes. Whatever your taste, they got it for you there at Johnston RV Center, and a price range for everyone with approved credit. No warranty issues either. You've got a lifetime warranty on anything new and qualifying pre-owned from RV Warranty Forever. JohnstonRVCenter.com.
All right, Fuhrman coming up next. The Big 12 is looking for a capital partner, and there is a favorite to get the Big 12 capital partnership. Redbird Capital is the leader, according to Ross Dellinger. They are looking for an infusion of millions of dollars for each school from this capital fund, who, by the way, has $10 billion in assets and 10 global offices. Redbird Capital does.
310 years, by the way.
310 years?
I'm saying $1 billion is 31 years. That's a lot of billions.
Yeah, that's a lot of billions right there.
They've got $10 billion in assets, 10 global offices in New York, L.A., Hong Kong, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, and others.
Little Middle Eastern money in there?
Yeah, so this is not, and they make a point, this is not an private equity proposal where they'll own part of the Big 12, but it's a capital infusion. These folks make investments and they get money back out, and they do it very well, apparently $10 billion in assets. But I think for a lot of people, when you start seeing, $10 billion in assets, 10 global offices, and then phrases like locations like Abu Dhabi and Dubai pop up, I think that's a little uncomfortable for some people.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
So Redbird Financial, or Redbird Capital Partners, that's the name of the company?
Redbird Capital Partners. I went to their website and checked
it
all out.
Did you notice what's at the top of their website?
By the way, we're running out of names. We go back to the Texas Tech billionaire.
Yeah, Double Eagle.
Redbird.
Redbird doesn't sound, it was Cricket.
Oh, mine is Aaron Judge.
Oh, mine was Cricket.
Oh, was it? So
Yeah.
they're invested in numerous sports, obviously. So they've got some sort of investment with Aaron Judge and or the Yankees. But Aaron Judge is the header photo right there on their own Redbird Capital Partners.
Mine was a blurred picture of a packed cricket stadium going on.
Big money in cricket.
Yeah, there is worldwide, and maybe
college football games last about as long as a cricket game these days.
Maybe they're watching. What is that one?
That's soccer. There,
soccer. Okay,
Yep.
So they're all about sports.
Dude, when I was down in the Bahamas, I think I told this story. ESPN down there, it was like the island version of ESPN, but ESPN's got their, and all they showed was cricket.
Cricket. Yep.
And those games can last multiple days.
I couldn't. I wanted to gamble on it because you had a casino right there, and I was like, I don't even know how to do this. I couldn't figure it out.
So that's the new world of college athletics. We've touched on it all this whole hour. We started with basketball, and then we went to price tag for positions. We went to level playing field for Alabama with revenue sharing. We went to crazy NIL request. We went to a college head coach leaving in March to go be a quarterback coach in the NFL. We went to season ticket holders getting a text that it's an A-Day event this year, with reports from Charlie Potter and company that there will be no live broadcast of the A-Day game or A-Day event this year, to Abu Dhabi and Dubai buying into the Big 12. That's basically, if we realigned a school, that would be the college athletic experience right there in 1 hour on the show today.
Boy, that capital investment, though, I mean, you wonder if this is the future of football, like Clay has talked about on the show before, or future of college sports, could college sports programs eventually just be like professional franchises? Somebody just owns Alabama sports or Auburn sports or Tennessee sports.
It's big business. We'll give you the list of the top 100 global franchises. And by the way, every NFL team makes the top 52.
I'm not stunned by that.
That's stunned. I bet we could piece together the...
Who do you think's 52nd?
Of the NFL franchises?
The least valuable NFL franchise.
Jacksonville Jaguars.
Next to last.
Their Jags are next to last?
Yeah, that would have been my guess, too.
Yeah.
Jags are 50th.
Then it might...
This one's 52nd.
It might be the Carolina Panthers.
It is not. We talked about them yesterday. It's the Cincinnati Bengals.
Okay.
No wonder they're cheap. They can't make ends meet.
Don't cry for them, though. They're only valued at $4.7 billion.
Don't even serve $3 million a day.
But the Yankees are in front of that, right?
Yeah, no. These are NFL. These are NFL franchises. 52nd. Top 100 global franchises later on. But Fuhrman, on the games tomorrow, show being brought to you today by our friends at Hemp Hill. You can listen to Fuhrman. You can go to lanceslock.com. Make your plays everywhere there. Lanceslock.com for the plays, brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill. LT.
Yeah, 6 plays up, 3 in college, 3 in NBA tonight. Free play up and available. Last night's free play, UAB winner right there for you. Go to lanceslock.com. Always brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services, 205-229-2090. Whether you experience plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there are ready to serve you. Tell them the next round sent you. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter at Scott Forrester TV.
We love the moments, the memories, the magic, the championships. So let's get more victories, more celebration.
He's got a chance. He won't be caught.
More unforgettable. More football. More of what you love.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, Trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
If you're looking to expand business and inform the Next Round audience about your exciting brand, contact us. Send an email to sales@nextroundlive.com to be a part of the team and advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential customers on our ever-expanding platform. Join our existing partners in the fastest-growing media space, both live and on demand, and reach the most desirable audience for your business. Get information and more by emailing sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to take your business to the next level with the Next Round.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
As we all know, there's no off-season when it comes to college football. If you want to stay in the know with all things Alabama, join us over on covercrimson.com and get $25 off your annual subscription. We'll keep you up to date and give you exclusive content all the way to the first Saturday of football season on covercrimson.com.
All right, Auburn fans, I want you to become a member of thebarnauburn.com and join in on the fun. Whether it's recruiting discussions, off-season chatter, or the latest Auburn athletics news, we've got it all. Get $25 off your annual subscription when you sign up for your account at thebarnauburn.com today. War Eagle.
When you crave activity like we do, you belong in the Roback family. Get the best golf wear, hoodies, and activewear for men and women at Roback.com. Use promo code TNR20 to get 20% off your order. That's Roback.com, promo code TNR20.
Alabama loves champions, and you know what they say, the more, the merrier. The Alabama High School Basketball Finals, presented by Alabama Community College System, February 27th to March 1st on APT.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Todd Fuhrman coming up. Let me just set the table for you.
All right.
We got number 1 Auburn, number 17 Kentucky, 12 o'clock ABC. Auburn hasn't won at Rupp Arena since 1988. We got number 6 Alabama at number 5 Tennessee, 3 o'clock on ESPN. 1 seed implications, double bye SEC tournament implications for you. Number 12 Texas A&M that's lost 3 games in a row at number 3 Florida. 7:30 SEC Network. Oklahoma needing a win on the road at Ole Miss. Georgia needing a win against Texas, who needs a win. Missouri and Vandy, I comfortably in, but with implications. And that's just in the SEC coming up this weekend. It's a massive weekend. We got to bring in our guy from the desert to tell us who's going to win these games.
BetTheBoardPodcast.com is the website. BetTheBoardPodcast.com. See him on social media as well, at Todd Fuhrman. Welcome in, Fuhrman. How are you today, my man?
I'm doing well, gentlemen. Hopefully you guys are as well, as the college hoop season continues to wind down. And just when you think we've got a little bit of clarity, it seems to be much more of a muddled mess than ever before.
Yeah, I would agree. There's a lot going on. Let me ask you this on that Auburn game, Auburn, Kentucky. First of all, if you put a point spread on it, what point spread would that be? But really, more than anything, I want to ask you, when Vegas looks at a game or you odds makers look at a game, something like the fact that Auburn hasn't won there since 1988, even though it's different coaches and all that, how does that factor into the way you break a game down?
Zero.
It really doesn't. You have to look at the handicapping of where these teams are currently constructed now in 2025. The last thing you want to do is let 15 to 20 plus years of history end up impacting the way that you're going to assess one data point. And that's where it's always interesting because odds makers will use their power rating. They'll adjust based on current form, and handicappers that think they can gain a little bit of an intangible edge, something that's not necessarily built into the number, to give them that competitive advantage. For the game tomorrow, though, despite the lackluster history, so to speak, for Auburn on the road at Rupp, I make Auburn right around a 6.5 point favorite in this game, but would not be shocked at all if Kentucky was the side taking money, given that you're kind of buying in Auburn stock now at the top of the market. And I know we've talked a little bit about them being overvalued. They didn't look to be a single point overvalued in that 30-point win against Ole Miss on Wednesday night, that's for sure.
You know, Fuhrman, we were talking earlier, odds to win the national championship. It's right at, you've got two basically co-favorites in Duke and Auburn. And I made the point, you know, moving forward, once we get to brackets, you'll probably see, I mean, if both of these teams, you know, if they don't stumble into the tournament, I would think you'd see a little more Duke action and a little more Duke on these brackets than Auburn just based on brand. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would say that's a fair assessment, but you mentioned the bracket, and that's going to flip things upside down. So if you're looking for teams a little bit further down the board that may find themselves seated in that 4, maybe through that 7 line, you probably want to see what that path is going to look like. But odds makers are going to adjust those teams accordingly. And I know in the lead-in, Dunaway mentioned Florida, a team that's, you know, a little bit intriguing. We've seen their odds drift out a little bit as the number is shortened on Auburn and Duke, both in that 3.5 to 1 range. Florida's number that was about 9 to 1 at this time last week, now out to 12. And if we're looking at big picture awards, though, I think the bigger movement has been in the Wooden Award. This time last week, Janae Broom, you could have found him right around plus $1.40, plus $1.50. He is now an overwhelming favorite at most of the national books at right around minus 230. Can't speak to our friends at mybookie.ag, but I can tell you where he is at some of the bigger shops across the country.
And that was on the Wooden, because that's the only one mybookie.ag heads up. Is that the one you were talking about?
Yep, that is the only one that's there.
Yeah.
I know the AP Player of the Year. It feels like college basketball gives out 37 awards for Players of the Year, but the Wooden is the only one, to my knowledge, that most books will actually take action.
Okay, that's interesting. So Janai Broom is minus 800. So Janai Broom at minus 800 and Flag at minus 196 at mybookie.ag. So it's kind of reflective of what you're talking about.
I'm not going to take shots, but as LT can tell you, when you have a 2-horse race and you have to lay upwards of $2 for the second favorite on the board there, you probably want to be shopping around for some better options. If you like Cooper Flag, you couldn't find him right around that plus $1.70, plus $1.75. But it's a hell of a racket as a bookmaker. If you make one guy minus $8, make another guy minus $2, it's very hard to lose money on that particular market.
So back to the games, Alabama and Tennessee this weekend with the implications I was talking about. Usually Alabama, as they play in Knoxville, it's a bad matchup, I always think. But I like this Alabama team at the rim, and that's something I don't think they've had against Tennessee in the past to this degree. How do you think this one matches up? And it feels like a 1 seed could be on the line here in the NCAA tournament. Does Bama have a really good chance of maybe going in there and pulling an upset?
So these games are always tricky for me because you mentioned, a little bit of court history, so to speak, and my raw power numbers on this game make Tennessee right around a 4.5 point favorite in this contest, but I just can't see the number opening that high. I think when you look at these two teams and the way they're constructed, Alabama having a little bit more ease at the offensive end, Tennessee coming in kind of buying at the top. I think this number could open a little bit shorter in that 3 range, and I'd be very curious to see where professional bettors, once they get involved, take it. You again mentioned the odds to be a number 1 overall seed, or not overall, but just a number 1 seed. Duke and Auburn off the board. Houston is a massive favorite, which surprised me a little bit given the questions that we have about the Big 12. But if we're looking at the two combatants in the Alabama-Tennessee game, Alabama right around minus $1.20 to be one of the 4 number 1 seeds, and Tennessee a little bit further down the board at a price tag right around 2 to 1. If you shop around, you might be able to find a slightly better number there on the Volunteers as well.
So Todd Fuhrman with us, bettheboardpodcast.com, at Todd Fuhrman on social media. So if Alabama wins this game, at least in Las Vegas, they would be very close to a lock for that last 1 seed, is what you're saying?
Yeah, barring a collapse, although, I'm not going to discount what could happen down the stretch because when we look at Alabama's 3 remaining games, all of them, they'll have their hands full. But if Alabama were to go at least 1-2 and not bow out early, I think you make a compelling case for them, their overall body of work and a resume for them to be a number 1 seed coming out of the SEC, unless, say, Florida were to go out there and run the table, win the SEC tournament, because we know that the committee loves to give a bump to some of these power conference champions, even though we should have enough data points already that an extra game or two really shouldn't sway some of the overall perception.
Fuhrman, I didn't see the price attached, but I saw the over-under was 2.5 for 1 seeds right now for the SEC, and obviously they're going to get 2. I think the under is the play, but I don't know if it was like minus 500. Have you seen that prop available? I'm just assuming that Houston and Duke are going to get the other 2 1 seeds.
You know, I only saw that number, and I saw it as a one-way market. So unfortunately, I didn't see a price there. But to your point, I'm kind of with you that I think Houston and Duke make the most sense. And if you're going to give me an opportunity to go under 2.5, I'd say up to minus $1.30, minus $1.35, that be the angle that I'm much more compelled to take. The one market that I did see offered about the SEC versus the field, not for number 1 seeds, but to go on and win the national championship, I saw the SEC listed right around plus 125 with an implied probability, call it in the mid 40% range. And you could take the rest of college basketball at minus $1.50 to minus $1.55. That one intrigues me some because it feels like the way we're trending right now, the SEC may end up getting, 12 teams in the field. And even if it's not the number 1 seeds, you're going to have a team that's a little bit more battle-tested, kind of emerge from the shadows, and maybe have an opportunity to pull an upset in the Sweet 16 or even as deep as the Elite 8.
So you're telling me
Oh no! When Dunaway goes into used car salesman mode, I start to get nervous about the direction of our overall dialogue.
So you're telling me that I can take the entire Southeastern Conference and put money on that to win the national championship and get a little money back?
You indeed can, and that number I'm sure will be on the move once the bracket gets revealed. But Dunaway, for those folks scoring at home, it would give you Auburn, it would give you Alabama, Florida, Tennessee, and maybe 7 or 8 other teams working in your favor. So yeah. I think for the first time in a long time, that is an extremely compelling market, because if you're higher on Duke and Houston, you can make a case for the field. But I actually would lean towards the SEC right now, knowing that I can come in armed with teams that can play a variety of different styles.
God, if we had the rights, we'd have hit Sweet Home Alabama right then. We'd have dun, 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 dun.
Hey, but Fuhrman, I mean, do you think there's more than 4 teams that can win it in the SEC? And those 4 teams, obviously, Auburn, Florida, Alabama, and Tennessee, right? And the reason I ask is we've only seen one of those teams ever win a national championship. Tennessee's never been to a Final Four.
Well, it's Rick Barnes, so we can say that Tennessee is a throwaway. Ron Slay's not out there listening to us right now anyway, so he knows as well as anybody that Tennessee is a throwaway if we're talking about a national championship.
Yeah, and this goes back to a question that Brown asked you, and I know, look, when you handicap, you're handicapping in the moment. It's not about history, but it is hard for me because I've never seen it to see Auburn, hoist the trophy, to see Alabama do it, to see Tennessee do it. I mean, that's the thing. Of course, we haven't seen Houston do it. Well, I guess we've never seen Houston do it, have we?
Phi Slam and Gemma got beat.
Yeah, I mean, they lost to Georgetown and NC State.
Yeah.
You just said the same thing about my Buccaneers in 2002, though.
I would have.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Cubs finally won one.
That's always the big question, guys, and I think it's all about trying to figure out, do you lean into experience? Do you lean into current form? And as I'm going through, the top 5 or 6 favorites, because there is a considerable drop-off at most books after you get through the Auburn, Duke, Houston, Alabama, Florida, and Tennessee tier, into St. John's, who I think you're now buying at the top of the market, but full hat tip to Rick Pitino, what he's been able to accomplish there. The Iowa States of the world, Michigan States, Arizona, Missouri. So of those 6 teams, honestly, guys, if I had to make a bet right now, I'm going to go with a team that's kind of shown the ability to at least get to the big game and ran into the buzzsaw. I would be making a case for Alabama of those 6 teams from a value perspective once I see the field that the Crimson Tide will have in front of them.
Interesting. So you feel that good about the way Alabama's playing right now?
I think that they have some of that veteran metal, and, being there, once you have some of that scar tissue working in your favor, can go a long way. And the potential to really avoid most likely an Auburn and Duke until you get to the Final Four, I think is an extremely attractive proposition. And from an overall power rating standpoint, for me, I can kind of throw a blanket over all those teams, and it'll boil down to matchups as much as anything else. I think when you go through Alabama, you'd love nothing more than to see them acquit themselves well in the final 3 regular season games. And of course, look a little bit more poised to push Auburn in the regular season finale than the first time around where we saw Alabama lose by 9 at home and give up nearly 100 points.
Live High Believer says St. John's is basically Tennessee and New York because they can't score. I do think, Fuhrman, and I'm curious to your thoughts on this, and we'll know more when the bracket comes out. But without knowing what the bracket looks like, people are going to buy into Rick Pitino. That's going to be a very, very popular pick, St. John's.
100%. I think one thing that the guy that you just quoted there left out is that Rick Pitino isn't Rick Barnes. And that's the difference between St. John's and Tennessee as you try and figure it out. But there's no doubt this is a Johnny's team that struggles to shoot the ball from deep. And if those shots aren't falling, do they have a secondary pitch? To use a baseball analogy, if you can't locate your fastball, you better make sure you have good secondary stuff. And for the Johnnies, they can lean into their defense, their ability to get to the offensive glass. The biggest question that I have about St. John's is they continue to see their odds shorten to win the national championship. Do we believe that the Big East is as good this year as what we've seen in the past? We know UConn is down some. I don't think Creighton is a great litmus test for some of the other teams. So I do think of all the teams that are out there right now that St. John's going to be a little bit overvalued, but I'll never argue with some of the mettle and moxie from one of the best coaches of our generation and his ability to get the most out of this team in a 40-minute sample size.
So, Fuhrman, these brands, North Carolina, UConn, Baylor, Gonzaga, Kansas, just 5 that I handpicked, 29 games under 500 against the number. Is this kind of a reflection? Has it been a pretty good year for the books based on, some of these big brands being so bad against the number this year?
So the always interesting part for college basketball that's tougher to get a read on exactly what the financials look like, because to your point, LT, you get such a high volume of games and the betting handle really doesn't ramp up for them until the Super Bowl is in the rearview mirror. The overall book of business for college basketball and profitability typically will hinge on what they see from a conference tournament and NCAA tournament standpoint. So this is kind of a drop in the ocean right now. And anytime you see some of those perennial powers struggle from an ATS standpoint, it's good. But at the same time, you do want to make sure that the big brands are all in the field. And for a team like a North Carolina that's right around plus $1.50 just to make the field to 68, Texas with the loss against Arkansas that's seen their number drift out, you want as many of these compelling teams to be in the mix to kind of drive up that betting handle once we get to that third weekend in March.
Fuhrman, before you go, Royal Payne wants us to ask you if you have any thoughts at all on this gambling, college basketball gambling probe that is going on. Maybe not just limited to basketball, but the gambling probe that's going on. Any thoughts on that from the people you've talked to out in Vegas?
Plenty. Not so much on the people I've talked to out here in Vegas. I'll keep some of those discussions a little bit more private, but from an overall macro level of things, people are getting real concerned about what's going on and how these scandals are being brought to light. I'm going to play devil's advocate and say this is exactly why we wanted sports betting legalization on a large scale, because anytime there's something nefarious or there's a level of impropriety taking place at a regulated book, that's where you get the powers that be involved in these kind of discussions and dialogues, because we could all pretend that point shaving hasn't existed for the last 40 or 50 years, because if you bury your head in the sand far enough, yeah, it doesn't exist, nobody gets caught, and people are none the wiser. But the more of these scandals that get brought to light, whether it's a situation we saw unfold at Temple, what we're seeing now at University of New Orleans, which, by the way, I had no idea Master P was heavily involved in college basketball as the operations.
Interesting timing to take that gig, by the way, yeah.
For sure, and what we're seeing at Mississippi Valley State. So anytime these scandals get brought to light, I think it's a win. And also, guys, it's not coincidence that we're talking about not even some of the second-tier programs in college basketball, that it's a third tier. The only way you're going to be able to eradicate some of this is by just booking power conferences. So I think we're headed in the right direction, even if it's a temporary black eye. And I'll be a little bit more concerned if some of these match-fixing allegations start to find their way into big-time college football at the Big Ten and SEC level, where NIL plays such a big role. And, of course, at the professional level, from a big-picture standpoint, the Janae Porter situation, when you're a player 10 to 12 and your over-under for points, rebounds, and assists is about 6.5 on a nightly basis, shame on the sports books for even hanging those markets in the first place.
Yeah. All right, he is Todd Fuhrman, bettheboardpodcast.com for all the games. We touched on a few of them. They get a ton of them at bettheboardpodcast.com. Good info for you. At Todd Fuhrman on social media is where you find him. Fuhrman, enjoy the games this weekend. We'll see you next week.
Hey, always a pleasure. One thing before I go, Brownie, I didn't put Dunaway's feet to the fire. Dunaway, you got a race pick for me this weekend. We finally get away from super speedways.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a guy that loves to make right and left turns as we go to Circuit of the Americas at Austin.
If just right here off the top of my head, I'm going to go A.J. Allmendinger.
You got a road course ringer there, and he's got a little bit more credibility than if you told me you like Jimmy Johnson. So, Dunaway, free pass for you this week, and we can dive into the Desert Mile in Phoenix next weekend, my friend.
How about me having A.J. Allmendinger ready to go?
Fuhrman.
I'm a little bit worried, boys. I'm a little bit worried. Either Dunaway is checked out for the week and he's just Googling as quickly as he can, or he's actually doing his homework ahead of time, which would be a scary proposition for you, Brownie, ULT, and all the listeners out there.
Fuhrman, thank you. We'll see you next week.
Be good, boys.
All right, Fuhrman with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.
Show brought to you by Storm Restoration Roofing. Greg from Pell City will get on top of your roof for free and give it a free, no-cost roof inspection. When's the last time somebody's been on your roof to check it out? Maybe you're looking to buy a new home and you want to get somebody up there to give it a good look. It's that time of year. Greg will do that for you, too. Free, no-cost roof inspection, no obligation. He loves to help you out any way he can. He's just a good dude, man. Family. He's here local. It's locally owned. He and his wife run the company. Got a couple of kids, son-in-laws that are on the crew as well. So he's not going anywhere. Family's built a home here, and he is going to stay by your side for the length of your home. And he'll make sure it stays in top condition. That free inspection, full roof replacement, storm damage repairs. He does it all, everything in between. And he's got a little insurance relationship with the providers because he's been doing it so long here locally. And he's got some information if you got an older roof that could help you get coverage on that roof or something that you need to be aware of. He'll let you know that information, too, if you call him up. 205-542-3531. 205-542-3531. A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau. It is Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing.
I just want to say something real quick in the chat room because I've seen a lot of this today. The people are actually joking about Auburn cutting down the nets at Rupp Arena, which is not going to happen. You got a better shot of getting in Fort Knox than
you might get shot.
Cutting down nets at a place like Rupp Arena.
Well, first off, you don't know.
And that was the point.
Yeah, the 12 o'clock tip time,
That's
you're
right.
not going to know that you're the outright winner yet.
Yeah, you could at least have clinched a tie by the end of your game, but you've got to wait on the Alabama-Tennessee final to determine if you're outright SEC champion.
But you could be outright champion by about 5:30 Central Time on Saturday. If Alabama loses and Auburn wins, then Auburn has clinched the SEC regular season championship. And we talked about this while you were gone, the one day you were off. But when do you cut down the net? You wait till the final home game?
No, I will say, I'll never forget, I grew up a North Carolina fan, and I remember when they beat Georgetown in Birmingham to get to a Final Four.
Yeah.
Dean Smith at that point was like, we're not cutting down the nets. This is not our goal. And I think probably for Bruce and Steven, it's kind of the same thing. Like, this will be their third regular season SEC championship since 2018. They've done this before.
Yeah,
it's part of the journey.
Yeah, they'll cut the nets.
But I'm just saying this isn't like the ultimate goal.
Yeah, but
it's
not the ultimate goal, but it is a big goal to be the SEC regular season champs. Well, we were discussing you can't do it on the road. Right? Nobody's going to let you cut their net down on the road.
No.
So you only got one home game left. It's against Alabama. So if you win that game, it's fun.
Party.
Yeah, you're cutting down the nets after just beating Alabama.
Okay, but if you don't, then when you don't cut down the nets?
That's that was the discussion.
What we discussed.
Yeah.
If you lose the game, it feels weird to drag ladders out and cut nets down.
We're still SEC champions.
Yeah. That's why you almost say, hey, look, it's a great accomplishment. By the way, it's the third time we've done this since 2018. Pre-2018, I don't think they have three. Do they even have three SEC championships?
This will be their sixth total.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so 3 before, 3 after. So in the Pearl days, he's had 3 regular seasons.
120 years
it's
of
a great
basketball.
accomplishment. Congratulations to these guys. We talked about it before the season. It was part of the journey. We're going to cut down the nets when something else comes down.
They cut them at the tournament last year, right? You were there.
You always cut them, except when Dean Smith said no, but every team cuts them down when they win their regional.
Yeah, but I was talking about SEC tournament.
Yeah. Auburn cut them down to the SEC tournament.
Yeah, because a lot of people couldn't even believe Alabama got a trophy for going to the Final Four. Auburn, by the way, got the same trophy. Everybody does. When you win a regional, you get a trophy.
It's a big deal.
You get a trophy, you cut a net down. I mean, you have won. They give a trophy for winning the West Regional and the Midwest Regional and all that. I mean, I think people were surprised by that. I'm like, have you never watched college basketball?
No, you hang a banner. Even Duke and North Carolina hang Final Four banners.
Yeah, they literally have a ceremony where they give you the trophy. They show it on TV.
It is the only sport where you really can win a regional final and you feel like you've won a championship.
Absolutely.
Like even winning an AFC championship, NFC championship, obviously big deal.
Yeah, they do trophies for those too.
But it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
I think it's different on the college level when you go to a Final Four.
That's a great comparison. I believe that when you win the region, it's like winning the AFC NFC championship.
Maybe even more though.
Yeah.
I guess we were like, hey, look, they were a Super Bowl participant. They're in the Final Four.
Yeah.
Well, I think, you could have an AFC championship or NFC championship where your opponent has a crap game, turns it over 5 times. But, of course, you've had to win games to get there. But
as you're about to make the point, I think you get criticized more for losing Super Bowls than going to Final Fours and not winning them.
Yeah.
Like Tom Izzo's got so many, and we talk about the only one he won was 2000. So that gets brought up a little bit, which is kind of understandable. But, like, Marv Levy will never live down the fact that he lost – 4 Super Bowls.
But my God, he was 4-time in a row AFC champion. What an accomplishment. But you're right. It sticks with him. Let's do the spotlight, Tyler, if you will. The college football spotlight here. Hit it, man.
The college football spotlight.
It is brought to you by McCurry Van and Car Rental. They've got those difficult-to-find rentals for you, the SUVs, the passenger vans, the trucks, the cars. They get you in and out, easy to rent. They do it fast for you as well. Athens, Muscle Shoals, Huntsville, 2nd Avenue Northwest at Coleman, Skyland Boulevard at Tuscaloosa. Reserve that rental today, 256-559-1003 or McCurryRentals.com.
You're going to get a lot of this, but I want to give a little props here. 1 week from tomorrow, they'll gather at the football complex in Boulder, Colorado, to lay out the plans for spring practice to start on March 11th. And Deion Sanders is still your head coach there. And I will just say, I don't think anybody on the table here really thought he'd be doing this going into year 3, right?
No. First of all, I thought it would be a disaster. So give Deion a lot of credit that he has got not only people talking about Colorado early, people are still talking about him. As you bring this up, I'm reading about Travis Hunter saying that he has got to go number 1. It's one of his ultimate goals was to go number 1 overall in the draft, which don't think he's going to go number 1 overall.
He's not going to work out at the combine, which I don't blame him.
Don't either.
Wants to play both positions.
Yep.
I don't blame him. But probably the only way you were going to have a chance to be number 1 overall, you got to get a little luck. Carter's hurt, so that may help you a little bit.
Yeah, position of need, all that kind of stuff. And obviously he's a guy that can play both ways. So there's a lot of teams that could use Travis Hunter. But it is pretty amazing the accomplishment of Colorado's going to have 2 guys in the top 10 in Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. With all that said,
Deion stayed.
And Deion stayed. And so now it gets really interesting. It was, first of all, year 1, and this is people being on the negative side of it, and I was one of those guys. But if you want to size that up, year 1, okay, they snuck up on people. Now people in year 2 will be ready. Deion didn't go on these official visits. He's got a little lazy when it comes to recruiting. He's not going to be able to just piecemeal this thing together. The schedule's more difficult. Well, he passed that. Well, now it is, can he do it without these elite players and an elite quarterback? And I don't know. We'll see.
Well, recruiting-wise, he got an elite quarterback. I don't know if Juju Lewis will be.
Oh, yeah. And Cade Salter is solid.
That's it. The anonymous coach story from The Athletic.
Right.
Best quarterback in the portal. 3 or 4 of them said
Caden Salter
from Liberty to Colorado.
Yeah. Well, that surprises me. But I do think he's got a ton of experience. He's got a nice skill set. He's not Shedeur Sanders. And how much better is the offensive line going to be? Because it was better last year, but it wasn't that much better.
Yeah, so, yes, to answer your initial question, if you told me 2 years ago, hey, entering year 3, Deion Sanders is coaching the Colorado spring game, I would have said, I guess is he 4-20 through those 12 games?
Yeah.
Is he on the hot seat now after, struggling like that?
Well, we got to the point where we were saying he was only going to coach his sons.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that was when he had success. We're like,
his other son is not
Shiloh?
still. Shiloh's not still there, right?
I think he's coming out too.
Yeah,
he left too, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's out of kids there.
So he has no kids and no practically adopted kid in Travis Hunter.
That's right. No familial reason to stay.
He is just a coach.
But that's all. That's what we said about him when he started having success. Is well, he'll stay there now. He coaches his sons, then he'll cash in on a bigger job. There were even discussions of him maybe in an NFL job, like the Dallas Cowboys even, which, by the way, in hindsight,
would have excited me more than Brian Schottenheimer.
Oh, excited me infinitely more. I was about to ask if you're a Cowboys fan, how would you have felt about it? Over Schottenheimer? I think I'd rather have Deion. But no, I did not think we would be discussing this year 3 with him. I'm with Lance. I thought this would be 100% a failed experiment, and it has exceeded – not met, but exceeded all of my expectations.
Yeah, I mean, who would have thought that Deion Sanders in his first 2 years would have a better record than Hugh Freeze?
Not me.
Yeah, not me.
That is hard to believe.
I mean, I would have gone digits to dollars. I would have, because I would have said Hugh, worst case, is going to be 6-6, 6-6, and there is no way, Deion. And if you would have gone back last year and just gone win to win.
What's Deion's record?
Deion is 13-12.
And Hugh's 11-14?
11-14.
So I look at your sheet of paper right there.
Do you think?
you can read it.
I can read the 11-14. Yeah.
Do you think Deion is 13-12 at Auburn or better?
No.
If he'd have taken the Auburn job,
I do not.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, now
I don't know.
is Travis Hunter on the team and is his quarterback Shedeur Sanders?
Yeah.
Well, it would be Shedeur Sanders. I would think so. It would be Shedeur Sanders behind a better offensive line. Auburn's offensive line wasn't great, but it's infinitely better than what he played behind.
Oh, I think they're 8-4 with those guys. I really do. I mean, because they would have had other guys gravitate. Just more resources.
Would have had more talent to start with than he had at Colorado.
I mean, he went 4 wins to 9 wins last year.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think in the second year adjustment at Auburn, it would have been much better.
Do you think Hugh would be 11-14 or better at Colorado?
I don't think anybody would without Shedeur.
Yeah, without bringing who he brought with him.
Yeah, you could put elite proven coaches there without a generational type quarterback. I just don't know.
Yeah,
that
I mean, Nick Saban, Kirby Smart, those guys could easily do it, but there's a lot of people that couldn't.
That's our spotlight brought to you by our friends at McCurry. Deion Sanders going into year 3, something a lot of us did not think would happen. McCurry spotlight there.
McCurryRentals.com. That is McCurryRentals.com.
When we come back, we will do our 4 downs today, plus a lot more on the basketball and football front. Weight of wellness. If you got too much on your front right now, you can lose some of that weight. They'll help you in the hard-to-lose areas like that beer belly that I've carried around, I think, since the last time Auburn won at Rupp, 1988. But they can help you make it smaller and lose that weight. aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. Leslie and her board-certified team is right there to help you with a variety of different ways with the weight loss. Meal replacements, injection therapy, everything in between, whatever you're comfortable doing, and they'll coach you up on that with a free consultation. There's no contracts and no sign-up fees, and it works, man. Let me tell you, it works. Check them out online, aplanforme.com. It's Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older. Must be present to win.
Looking to expand your business? Let the Next Round help you. Contact us, sales@nextroundlive.com, and be part of the team. Advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential customers on our ever-expanding platforms. The Next Round can take your business to the next level. Join our existing partners in the fastest-growing media space, both live and on demand, while reaching the most desirable audience for your business. Get more information by emailing sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level using the Next Round.
Happy football season. At the Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant Denny or Jordan Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
The World Wide Web is a large place. Find all your favorite people and content in the same spot. NextRoundLive.com is full of wonderful tidbits about the show you know and love. Find our gear, listen to your favorite personalities, follow our socials, and enjoy your trip to NextRoundLive.com.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Do you need some refreshed college wear to represent your team this year? Shop Roback's Game Day collection that includes both Alabama and Auburn. From quarter zips to hoodies, Roback has it all. Get 20% off on us using code TNR20 at roback.com.
No matter the occasion, the Next Round store has you covered with whatever you need. Head over to nextround.store and start filling your cart up now. When you wear your gear, make sure to let us know by posting on socials, and you might just end up seeing yourself during a commercial break. Go browse now at nextround.store and place your order before the break ends.
When the clock hits 0, go to all Next Round video platforms for instant reactions for the latest Auburn and Alabama basketball games. Follow, like, subscribe, and set those alerts. The madness starts now, so be a part of it at Next Round Live on all social platforms.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
It's time to pull the trigger on the Next Round merch that you've been eyeing. We know there's a lot to choose from at nextround.store, so here's a few of our favorite picks. If you want to match LT and Brown, go with the TNR logo hoodie and throw in one of Dunaway's favorite hats. Any of them will do. The Backroom's go-to is the classic logo t-shirt, while my personal favorite is the light blue TNR crew neck. All of these items can be found at nextround.store and are EG approved. Rest assured, your order will be packed with lots of love from us here at the Next Round. Head over to nextround.store to start filling up your cart.
Our buddy Josh Pate, go check out his work. He's on all the same platforms we are. You know Josh Pate, Mr. College Football there. Used to be Tony Barnhart when I was first in the business, but I'm giving it to Josh Pate now. I'm passing the torch from Tony to Josh Pate. He's Mr. College Football.
I'm with
now.
that. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, he's my Mr. College Football. He was debating, does Oklahoma have the toughest schedule in college football next year? I'll let you go watch Josh and let him decide. I'll give you my opinion, and the answer is I don't think they do.
You don't?
I don't.
Okay.
Here is Oklahoma's schedule. Illinois State, Michigan at home, good game, at Temple, Auburn at home, Kent State at home.
It can't be with that out of conference. I haven't even gotten past Kent State.
Yeah, I mean, Michigan's the good one. Then Texas, neutral site, at South Carolina, Ole Miss at home, at Tennessee, at Alabama, Missouri at home, LSU at home. Listen, I haven't looked at the other 130-something, but I'm pretty familiar with Alabama. Okay. Can you at least give me Alabama?
Okay.
I think Alabama's just tougher.
As you would say, before, just in conference, I think you probably can make an argument that the toughest conference schedule might be Oklahoma's. Now, they do avoid the best team in the conference in Georgia.
But Alabama doesn't. That's my point. Alabama's is tougher than Oklahoma, Josh. I mean, I don't know what Josh says. If it's the toughest, he may be saying it's not the toughest. But Alabama's schedule, when you look at Alabama's compared to them, Alabama has, I mean, you guys joke about Florida State.
They were awful.
They got a quarterback, a lot of portal, a lot of edge rushers from Tennessee. I mean, they've hit the portal hard and spent a lot of money.
I think they did last year.
But at least they're better either than Kent State, Temple, or Illinois State. Okay, they're better than that. Bama gets La Monroe at home. They get Wisconsin at home. Wisconsin, they're not going to be as good as Michigan. Florida State probably not as good as Michigan, but those are two good out-of-conference games.
The schedules are close. Alabama's in-conference isn't as good as Oklahoma's in-conference.
You think Alabama's in-conference is tougher?
No.
Than Oklahoma's?
No, not
Alabama
in the
at
SEC.
Georgia. Alabama at Georgia.
Yep.
Vandy
Okay.
with Diago still there. Alabama at Missouri, who's good again. Tennessee at home, good again. Alabama at South Carolina. LSU, who does Oklahoma play at the end at home, just like Alabama. Oklahoma's at Alabama, Eastern Illinois, and then on the road at Auburn.
Okay, so Texas is right there with Georgia, right? So Oklahoma plays Texas neutral sites, and they don't play
but
Georgia.
Bama at Georgia is tougher than Oklahoma, Texas.
That's right. Alabama at Georgia is the toughest team on
that's
either
your
schedule.
1 and 2, okay.
But Oklahoma is at South Carolina, as is Alabama.
Yeah, they both got that one.
Oklahoma at Tennessee.
And Bama hosts Tennessee, so it's easier
Oklahoma's
for Bama.
got to go to Bama.
Yeah, which is easier for Alabama.
Yeah,
it gets played at home.
It is. I mean, but Alabama's a better team than Oklahoma, probably.
Just personally, I mean, subjective, but I think Oklahoma's. I think the entirety of the schedule, I would lean Alabama a little more difficult, but I think Oklahoma's in conference is a little more difficult than Alabama's.
Okay, on the fly, not side by side, but can you just give me the cool Auburn graphic you also built?
Well, and we got to do Florida's. I mean, Florida's was most difficult last year.
I've got another one, too, that we need to know. Scott's not going to have. I mean, he's going to have it. He's not going to have the new fancy one, but he's going to have the one I've got.
The new look graphic, but here's Auburn.
Okay.
At Baylor. Tricky game. But
you said the other day this ain't that bad a schedule.
It's not. I mean, I think they beat Baylor. And then Ball State, South Alabama, those are wins. Auburn's at Oklahoma. Auburn should be a better team than Oklahoma this year. We'll see. It'll be a lot of juice with Jackson Arnold going back there.
Yes, it will.
Texas A&M. I mean, it'll be close. That'll be tough.
I mean, those are two tough road trips to open conference play with at Oklahoma and at Texas A&M.
You guys give me, I mean, life or death record after 5 games through September.
I think they should be 5-0, but
should be 5-0. You out of your mind?
But I'll go.
Not away. They're going to be 2-3.
Oh, I don't think they'll be 2.
Auburn will not be 2-3.
I think they'll be 3-2. I don't think they should be 5-0. I don't think anybody thinks
Auburn
that.
got the best receiver out of the portal in Eric Singleton, one of the better quarterbacks in Jackson Arnold, and maybe the best edge rusher out of the portal, if not the second best, in Chris Murray.
I'm putting my life on. I'm going to go 3-2. Now the Baylor
So
game
what if
is
it's 4-1?
Yeah, 4-1. Y'all both die.
Do you die?
No, y'all both die. You had 5-0.
You get within a game.
No, I said they could be 5-0. 4-1 is where I would go.
If you've got to get within a game, I would go 3-2.
Well, if you got to get within a game, I'd go 3-2.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's what we're talking about. You
Yeah.
just said 5-0.
I was having to nail it on the head.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's closer to 4-1 than it is to 2-3.
Yeah, but you said 5-0.
You said
I
should
said
be.
Could be 5. It should be 5-0.
yeah.
They should be. They should.
Well, they're going to be underdogs in 3 of the first 5 for whatever that matters.
For the 3 road games?
Yeah, they'll be underdogs in all 3.
By the time we kick off Auburn Baylor, you think Auburn will be
That's the closest one. I think
will
they're
be an underdog.
definitely underdogs at Oklahoma.
Yeah,
and
they're
Texas
definitely
A&M.
definitely underdogs.
Yeah, I mean Baylor,
in Norman and
Baylor
College
will be the
Station.
closest to the toss.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really close to a pick. I'm just leaning right now that Baylor would be a 1-point favorite. It's going to be
you
really
think
close.
Auburn will be a dog at Oklahoma?
100%.
Yeah.
Well, you're
They
talking,
lost
Brand,
it.
you're talking like Oklahoma lost to Ohio State in the national championship game
Oklahoma,
last year.
I'm
My
not,
God,
but
They beat Auburn in Auburn last year.
Yeah, they
they're
did.
going to be
A
favorites.
lot of the same things you're talking about Auburn doing, Oklahoma did. They also upgraded at quarterback.
could be.
Well,
could
and
be.
a lot of this depends on how Oklahoma plays up until that point. But I think Oklahoma's going to be undefeated. I'm just guessing. I mean, what's their schedule look like?
I'd have to go look at it. I don't know who they Oklahoma.
I would think Oklahoma is probably going to be 3-0 when they meet Auburn.
Oh, Oklahoma will be unbeaten.
Yeah.
I mean,
Who do
we
they
just-
have out of conference before that? Do you know?
See, I don't know.
No, they would have lost probably to Michigan. They'll have one loss.
No, aren't they
Oh.
hosting Michigan?
Do you think Oklahoma's going to be Michigan because it's in Norman?
I think
Do
Oklahoma
you
and
remember
Michigan.
how bad Michigan was last year?
They're about the
Not
same
at the end
team.
of the year. They beat Ohio State and Alabama.
Yeah, well, Ohio State has a Michigan problem, and Alabama just didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Well,
That's what we always say at Alabama.
Well, I
when you
mean,
lose a game.
Milroe was god awful.
Oh, he
I mean, it was
was.
bad conditions. I mean, do you really believe if Alabama and Michigan would have played in regular season, it was a game that meant
no,
something? You
Alabama
think?
would have beaten Michigan.
Yeah.
They were a better team.
I disagree. Any time Alabama lost to Oklahoma in November, and it mattered. It was for the playoffs, and they lost.
I know.
So you're just going to agree with him and say, yeah, they would have beat them in the regular season?
They would have beat them in the regular season.
No way they would have beat them in the regular
season. Well, I mean, it depends on what Milroe you get.
Not at the end of the year, they wouldn't have beaten them because Michigan had gotten good at the end of the year.
Well, I mean, in November, you saw what Milroe did against LSU. That team would have walked Michigan off the field.
You're not going to run on Michigan, though.
Oh, really? Nobody ran on them this year?
You're not going to run on Michigan, quarterback up the middle.
And you're talking about, can Oklahoma beat them? You just referenced Oklahoma, trouncing Alabama.
Oklahoma opens.
Oklahoma beat them at the end of the year.
That's what I'm saying. I think Oklahoma will beat Michigan.
Illinois State, Michigan, at Temple, and Auburn. I mean, their worst case is 2-1.
Yeah, I mean, Oklahoma will be favored against Michigan. Whether or not that matters, I don't know. But they would definitely be favored.
I mean, you think Oklahoma will be favored against Michigan week 2 after that pouncing of Illinois State, the Fighting Cardinals?
Yep.
Yeah, they for sure will be favored against Michigan. And then they'll. I mean, I think they'll be 3-0 when they host Auburn. That could be game day. I mean, what's going on September 20th? I mean, if Auburn's 3-0, if they beat Baylor, it could be, right?
I have no idea what September 20th holds for us. I can look.
I mean, I doubt it, but I'm just saying, if both are 3-0.
I'm still blown away that Michigan is going to be an underdog at Oklahoma.
How does that blow you away?
Did you watch those two teams last year?
I did. I happened to watch the Ohio State game.
Jim,
we just got a report about people being tased and pepper sprayed, and all the force was okay, according to those the Ohio agencies that investigated the body camera.
Oh, okay.
All
so
warranted.
All clear?
It was all clear. The officers exactly. We were planting flags in Columbus last year.
Right.
On the road, Michigan won. At Ohio State, who, by the way, won what last year?
The national championship.
Okay, so now Michigan, a year older, better at quarterback, is going to go into Oklahoma.
They're going to have a 18-year-old. I think he's going to be fantastic, but I would guess that's going to be his first road start.
I would think so.
So Bryce Underwood rolling into Norman, which has got a pretty good noise level. You guys have been there before.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, hell, again, it's not going to be like they're going to be a heavy favorite. I think Oklahoma will be a 2-3 point favorite, so it's not going to shock me it goes either way.
Well, as far as game day goes, you might be right about this. I mean, that day, just looking at teams that will be ranked, Purdue's at Notre Dame. That's not going to get it. Michigan's at Nebraska. That's a helmet game.
Well, I mean, it goes back to winner of Michigan-Oklahoma, right? So if Michigan beats Oklahoma on the road, then maybe Michigan's undefeated.
But Michigan at Nebraska, I mean, that's probably your Fox Big Noon kickoff that day. So I don't know how that will impact it. South Carolina's at Missouri, Michigan State's at USC, Auburn, Oklahoma that day. Florida at Miami, depending on how Florida starts and Miami starts, that could get it. So you might be right. Could be game day.
Yeah. Especially if I get a chance to host down in Miami, I'd want to do that.
Can I make?
Can we do some sponsors?
Yes,
our friends at Woodhouse. LT, tell us about our friends at Woodhouse.
Hey, a great place to send the wife or girlfriend. A great place for yourself just to relax. But look, you want to go watch basketball all day. March Madness is coming up. Get her a gift card to Woodhouse Day Spa. Our friends up there, you can stop in. Located at the Summit Shopping Centers. Go see Stuart and the great staff. Tell them the next round sent you. You can also order online 24/7. Birmingham.woodhousespas.com. You can choose from a menu of over 70 options, including massages, body treatment, skincare, waxing, nail services. Woodhouse Day Spa, voted America's best day spa since 2009. Stop in. Again, go see Stuart and the great staff, or online 24/7. Birmingham.woodhousespas.com.
Listen, the weather is starting to turn. Where you never have to worry about the weather, though, is at the Golfus. Always 70 degrees, always dry in the Golfus, never any wind blowing. Sun doesn't set in the Golfus, man. You can play there at night. It's home to Birmingham's best golf simulators. The courses you see on TV, the ones you've always wanted to play, you can find right there at the Golfus. And it's a great idea for a team building exercise. You got those boring office meetings. Why don't you get out of the office and host it at the Golfus? Bring your own food, bring your own drink. Great spot for parties as well. You can have the games on the TVs while you're playing in the bays. Highway 31 in Vestavia, they're open. Van Road just off Highway 11 in Trussville, they're open. Coming soon to Highway 280. TheGolfus.com to book a bay or to see more. TheGolfus.com. Get out of the office and get in the Golfus. We looked at this one the other day. I would make a case about Wisconsin. Now, look, everybody's going to have crap out of conference games, and they've got two of them, Miami, Ohio, and Middle Tennessee.
Are you talking about for game day still?
No. I'm talking about for tough schedule in the country. At Alabama, host Maryland, and then we talked about their October. At Michigan, Iowa, Ohio State, at Oregon. There will not be a more difficult month than that one.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a brutal month of football.
That's tough.
Yeah, in fairness to my Josh Payton discussion that got me into that was SEC's toughest schedule.
My apologies. I thought you said
Not
national.
national toughest schedule. But that would be an interesting one. Some movements in the overall win totals that I think is interested. And you guys were talking about Alabama. Their win total at MGM is down now from 9.5 to 9.
Does that mean we got some doubters, Lance?
It's Alabama's win total's down to 9?
Yep.
Yeah, you got some doubters.
Yeah, these are 2025 win totals, open at 9.5, down to 9 now. Arizona opened at 8.5. I don't know what's happened, but they're down to 5.5.
Wow.
How about that one?
Do you happen to have, I know you're doing movements, is Florida on there? Because I pulled Florida's schedule. Florida's schedule's brutal again. Florida's going to be underdogs in 6 games.
Yeah, I think I have them right here. Hold on.
I mean, the only reason I ask is, I think Billy Napier is still on a pretty massive hot seat.
Oh, Florida's actually has gone up.
Really?
Opened at 5.5. It's now 6.5.
Okay. Well, I mean, again, they're going to be favored in 6 games. They'll be dogging 6 games, and if you get one to break your way. But I mean, so they've got Long Island. I think we all agreed nobody knew Long Island had a football team, right?
We did not, and Napier loses his job on the field if he loses.
Yeah, South Florida. Then you got to go to LSU, to Miami, Texas, then at A&M. You get a little break with Mississippi State coming to Gainesville. Then you've got Georgia in the cocktail party. Go to Kentucky, to Oxford to take on Ole Miss, and you close with Tennessee and Florida State.
Yeah,
that's
tough
crazy.
Schedule. Yeah, that to me is the toughest SEC schedule. I would agree with you with that. Let's see who else of interest.
6.5 at my bookie for Florida, by the way.
Auburn hasn't changed. 7.5 is their win total there.
You think about how close that really is to Alabama's.
Yeah, 9 to 7.5.
Yeah.
You could still get Bama at 9.5 at my bookie if you still like them.
Probably, I'd rather get them at 9.
Or if you dislike them, I should say, at 9.5.
Yeah, I would. I might take a flyer after the show on this.
Deion Sanders, Colorado, opened at 5.5. It is bumped up to 6.5, and some line movement there. Georgia, remember when it opened at 10.5?
Uh-huh.
And you were all over that? You were like, oh, get 10.5? Yeah, they've dropped to 10 as well. They're down a half.
But I think we said take the under 10.5 because you've only got, obviously you can lose one game.
Because a lot of people did, so now it's down to 10.
By the way, it's down to 9.5 at my bookie. I mean, that's a pretty low number for Georgia.
It is, but again, 9.5 is because you feel like they're not going to lose 3 regular season games, right?
Here's one that you would love, a little line movement. LSU opened at 9.5. It has dropped to 8.5.
I would play LSU's over.
I'd play LSU's over there too. Miami's one of those that dropped from 9.5 to 9.
I would not feel great about that.
Yep.
They were a 10-win team with Cam Ward.
I'd like to see Mississippi State's out of conference schedule because they opened at 4.5 and they are now at 3.5.
I don't think it's very good, Jim, but if you give me 2 seconds, I'll pull it up for you.
Yeah, I got it right here, Brown. So Mississippi State, they've at Southern Miss, Arizona State at home, Alcorn State, and Northern Illinois. They should be 4-0. Arizona State's going to be tricky, but it's in Starkville.
Yeah. So if they beat Arizona State, you could be over before you even play an SEC game.
Oh, but I hate to bring this up. They're not going to be favored in one SEC game.
Well, yeah, but what's the number?
It's 3.5.
So if you just wipe if you win your out of conference, which Arizona State becomes the tricky game.
Yeah.
Now, that said, they lost, which MAC team was it that went in there and ran them out of the stadium last year? So you'd have probably said the same of that game. Was it Toledo? A MAC team went in there and ran them out of the stadium last year.
Yeah.
I would not feel good about taking the over Mississippi State. And if it goes under, does that mean Levy in 2 years is out?
Can I sell you on taking Notre Dame's under at this point? They opened at 8.5. Notre Dame is up to 10.
Yes. Sold.
Yeah. By the way, nobody is 11.
Nor should they be.
10.5 is the max for that. That includes Ohio State, who stays at 10.5. Oklahoma, who you guys were talking about, favored against Michigan possibly, opened at 7.5 down to 6.5.
Well, with that schedule.
Yeah. So their win total is less than Auburn's.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think we're going to see an undefeated team again. You'll get one every 3 or 4 years randomly out of a Power 5.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
And you'll see maybe 4 or 5 11-1 teams.
You're
just not going to see a lot of it.
You can maybe get value on the under with Penn State now. Opened at 9.5. It is up to 10.5.
I will take the under with a smile on my face. I mean, do you guys think they go 11-1? I mean, it just depends. Do they play more than one top 25 team, right?
Yeah.
What about?
They do, though, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Penn State.
They've got Ohio State and Oregon, I think.
Yeah, they got Oregon at home and at Ohio State.
Yeah, I mean, so
they've still got to go to Iowa.
Yeah, give me so I can get that's.
Which team? Penn State.
Yeah, 10.5.
10.5.
They're a full game over Alabama regular season.
Yeah, no. I would love
They're a game and a half.
I would love taking under Penn State at 10.5.
And they've got a healthier win total than Georgia does.
Because that Oregon game is going to be I mean, if Oregon's not number one, they're going to be. I've got to see who they play before Penn State. I mean, it's going to be the game James Franklin never wins, and it doesn't matter where he plays them anymore. He does not win them.
I'm trying to remember. You guys laughed at me when we did our quarterback thing because I had Lenore Sellers 4th.
Yeah.
Here's the win totals for you.
Well, first of all, their schedule.
Biggest sucker bet in all of football this upcoming year. South Carolina opened at 5.5. It has stayed at 5.5.
All right, so quick.
That's bowl game or not.
Yeah.
Over under for South Carolina. And everybody's their sexy offseason pick to maybe make the playoffs.
So neutral site Virginia Tech, one of those Chick-fil-A games in Atlanta. Big season for Virginia Tech.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of like the Baylor-Auburn game.
Yeah. So you think the point spread could be that close?
Yeah. I mean, I think South Carolina will be like a 2.5, 3-point favorite, but it'll be close.
South Carolina State, they win. Vanderbilt, if they don't win it, you can tear that ticket up.
Yep.
At Missouri, really difficult game. Kentucky at home. Now, look, there's a pathway for them to start the season 4-1 at that point.
Or 5-0.
Or 5-0. I mean, if you can find a way to win at Missouri.
To me, they've got a better chance at 5-0 than going back to Auburn's first 5 games.
All right, but now we talked about Wisconsin's October. Listen to South Carolina's. At LSU, host Oklahoma, host Alabama, at Ole Miss. Yeah. So that's a brutal schedule right there.
But technically with Lenore Sellers, they should be better than Oklahoma at home and better than Ole Miss.
Well, as of right now.
Not better than Ole Miss on the road.
Well, I mean, where are we on Ole Miss's quarterback right now?
Well, people are singing the praises of Austin Simmons. I've seen a lot of talk about him in the offseason. Now, we'll see if it pans out. But as of right now, from what you've seen, now it will change by the time we get to October and November, I will admit that. Does South Carolina have the better of the two quarterbacks in these games at LSU?
I don't think so.
I would say yes.
I think so,
Very close.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah,
close.
I think so.
Against Oklahoma, I would say yes.
I lean yes. Yeah.
Mateer reminds me of Baker Mayfield. He's a baller. He's my NFL quarterback. I'm going to say no. I'll take Mateer.
Okay. I will point out just moments ago I said Oklahoma upgraded at quarterback. And he said, we'll see.
Yeah. Oh, you're comparing to Jackson Arnold.
I was comparing him to Jackson Arnold, yeah.
Well, you don't think Jackson Arnold's better than Sellers?
We'll see.
Okay. I've painted Jim in a corner here.
I'm down on Lenore Sellers.
Apparently, yeah. I don't trust Shane Beamer. I trust Sellers.
Ty Simpson.
What about Mike Shula?
Ty Simpson.
No. Ty Simpson. I don't know.
I don't either, but based on what we know right now.
I would go Sellers.
And then Austin Simmons. I mean, there's a chance South Carolina's going to play that stretch of football where they've got the better quarterback in every game, which is pretty rare for South Carolina in those types of games.
Yeah, and then, you've still got to play Cade Klubnik to end the season.
At Texas A&M and Clemson in their last 3 games.
No, I think South Carolina, I do think they're like a 6-6 team based on that schedule.
Yeah, and that's where you're betting them. Either over or under 5.5 hasn't changed despite all the offseason love. A couple of more here because I always find this interesting when we start getting our line movements on these win totals. Tennessee opened at 8.5, up to 9.5 at Tennessee. Texas, Arch Manning, all the love, opened at 10.5, down to 10.
Sounds right.
Basically, you're betting them to make the playoffs or not make the playoffs. A&M opened at 8.5,
down to 8,
down to 6.5.
6.5. Boy, they missed that one, didn't they?
Yep, down to 6.5. USC's at 7.5, has not changed there. Utah You always love them, LT.
The Utes, this is Lance's
Oh,
team.
look, 5 wins last year. They will bounce back. Numbers probably 7.5, and I'd feel really good taking over.
Opened at 9.5, but you nailed it. It's settled at 7.5. They're down 2. Settled at 7.5. Diego Pavia returning at Vandy. Opened at 2.5.
Yeah, I would have taken the over 2.5.
It is up only to 3.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of people not expecting the encore performance in Nashville to be anything to talk home about. The team Wisconsin that's coming to play Alabama opened at 6.5. Wisconsin, they are down to 5.5.
Well, I gave you a portion of that schedule, and it's a brutal schedule. I think Luke Fickell needs to be home shopping or finding a good realtor, and I might take that under at 5.5.
Yep. To your point on Florida State, guys, that y'all don't think they're very good, they opened at 9.5 win total.
Are you serious?
I mean, how do you not go bet that quickly? They are down to 7.5 now. So for it to move like that, LT, that means when they put that out there at 9.5, some people ran and started betting that.
They asked the same question we asked you. Did you watch that?
And so many people bet that it was like,
well, and there could have been
crap.
some movement since they put the original out in the portal with some of these teams.
Well, I think Florida State only got better at the portal. But they dropped two win totals there, 2 games on the win total. That from the folks at MGM, from our buddy and betonline.ag, and Jimmy sent that to us. We appreciate him contributing that in the email today. The top of the hour, show brought to you by a couple of great sponsors. One of them, our friends at New York Butcher Shop, where they've got more than the great rice recipe, but the rice is apparently really, really good, according to Brown the other day.
Fantastic stuff. Stop in the New York Butcher Shop. You're going to get the finest in fresh meats, specialty items, including those great sides that are prepared in-house, deli sandwiches. If you're just looking for a big-time lunch or dinner, you can stop, order one right there at the sandwich station. They've also got a fantastic selection of fine wines and desserts, rare quality, well-done service, one-stop dinner shop, 2 locations, Cabo Heights, Highway 119. Get to see Jim and that great staff. It's the New York Butcher Shop.
And our friends at New Life Art, they bring you all the great works of Daniel A. Moore throughout the years. That, of course, is Nick Saban. That's the legend. Promo code TNR helps you with any discount there with our friends at New Life Art. Just go to the website, danielmooreart.com, danielmooreart.com. You can celebrate the great Super Bowl wins of former Alabama stars with the Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, and Landon Dickerson. They've got some great works while they were at Alabama of those Super Bowl champions. You can celebrate that as well. Get everything that is offered at danielmooreart.com, danielmooreart.com.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken. If renting is putting a dent in your bank account, here's your sign from the universe that it's time to buy a new home. And who better to help you through the ins and outs of home buying than our friends at Mortgage Right. With Mortgage Right, you don't have to worry about becoming a short notice mortgage expert because they do all the heavy lifting for you. They're trusted mortgage professionals, and they'll help you choose the right mortgage option and stand by your side every step of the way. Visit mortgageright.com/TNR to buy before renting runs you dry. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender. Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older, must be present to win.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Hey friends, if you're looking to expand your business and inform the Next Round audience about your exciting brand, contact us at sales@nextroundlive.com to be part of the team and advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential consumers on our ever-expanding platform. Let the Next Round help take your business to the next level. Get more information by emailing us at sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level with the Next Round.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
Looking for a great place for that boring meeting? Leave the office and go to the Golfus. What about corporate events like board meetings, sales meetings, customer appreciation events? How about the Golfus? Watch parties for football and basketball, parties for birthdays or couple showers. The Golfus is a great place for those. The Golfus has Birmingham's best golf simulators and man caves in Vestavia on Highway 31, opening soon in Trussville and on Highway 280. Bring whatever you want to eat or drink, even bring your own clubs. Get out of the office. Go to the Golfus. Book your spot now at thegolfus.com.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Hey, congratulations to UAB. Big win last night on the road at Wichita State. First time the program's ever won in Wichita. 29 points from Alejandro Vasquez off the bench. 80-72, UAB wins it. Important because it sets the table up now for Memphis and UAB down at Bartow Arena Sunday, 3 o'clock, for a share of the AAC regular season championship for UAB. If they can get the big home crowd and the big home win, that would be really good. By the way, Andy Kennedy has coached them to 120 wins now in 5 years, the best 5-year stretch in UAB basketball history.
Wow.
Better than Mike Davis, better than Mike Anderson, better than Gene Bartow, not named Mike, the guy who started the program. Good job by Andy Kennedy. 120 wins in 5 years for him there. That's happening. Also, women's basketball last night, Alabama beat LSU. Our old friend Jay Barker's daughter had a big game in that one in overtime. Big win there that likely locked Alabama into a top 16 seed. And in the women's tournament, that means they would host the first 2 rounds. That's a big deal there. Another buzzer beater last night in basketball. Michigan with a buzzer beater to beat Rutgers 84-82. Did y'all see who hit it?
Trey Donaldson?
It was not.
Namari Burnett?
It was Namari Burnett.
Was it really?
Former NIL guest on the show, Namari Burnett, hit it one from the bottom corner
Good
of the
for
M.
him.
Buzzer sounds while it's in midair, and would have lost the game if it rattled out. Went in, bottom of the sack. Namari's the hero. 84-82. Michigan gets the big win over Rutgers. So it was a buzzer beater week, midweek for Michigan and Michigan State up there. And just a fun time in basketball. We'll get back to Auburn and Alabama coming up a little bit later on in this half hour of the show. Brought to you by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. Champy's Chicken is on 119 there in Alabaster. Sterling and the crew love to serve you, man. They have a great, kind heart. Part of the experience of a restaurant owner like Sterling is that he's on site and he loves to do great work, cook great food for his customers, but he loves to have relationships with his customers. It's that kind of restaurant that you get right there on Highway 119 in Alabaster. It's down home. The atmosphere is fantastic, and the chicken is second to none, in my opinion. It is brined overnight. It is always cooked to order, so they don't drop it.
until you order it there at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. The Mississippi Delta recipe tamales are so good. The hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and so much more. Check it out, Highway 119 in Alabaster. It is our friends at Champy's Chicken right there in Alabaster. Love those guys. All right, so here we go. Mentioned it earlier. If you don't think sports is a big business, in 2010, there were zero franchises on the globe that were valued at more than $2 billion. In 2010, not that long ago, zero that were over $2 billion. Now, everybody in the top 100 is more than $2 billion. That's how much
15 years
the sports game has gone up that much. Before you show us, Forrester, number one sports franchise on the planet. Value.
Dallas Cowboys.
It is still the Dallas Cowboys, up 12% in value since last year.
It shows you winning doesn't mean anything when it comes to the valuation
TV money
of one of these franchises. Yeah, it is all about TV money, and they still are. I mean, just to show you, and we used to joke with Dan Orlovsky about this when he came on, about Cowboys. Every single day, almost every program that ESPN runs through in football season, they do a major topic surrounding the Dallas Cowboys.
Now, in these rankings, you're seeing the top 10 here. This is everything that goes with the Cowboys. I don't know. They obviously own the Star, the complex.
Jerry owns the stadium.
Do they own the stadium?
Jerry owns the stadium.
So they own the stadium. So that you get all of that. So he's able to bring money by putting George Strait in there for 2 nights, or those type things. So that's got them at number 1. I assume that's why Golden State is at number 2.
Still surprising.
It is very surprising.
Is that they own the arena that was built in San Francisco?
I guess, but still, it's in San Francisco. I mean, I can get the Knicks and the Lakers because of the size of those media markets. And San Francisco is no small media market. It's a top 10, but still.
Yeah, but New York, Madison Square Garden Sports owns the Knicks.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
So, they get Madison Square Garden and all that. The Knicks are 3, the Lakers, the Yankees are 5th, the Steinbrenner family. But you see that 1 year value change, all those are up double digits. So, too, is the L.A. Rams, which is in at number 6.
Bad locker room, though, Lance.
That's what they say. Bad for families, too.
Yeah.
Yep. $800 million revenue there for them.
Aaron Rodgers is only going to take that stock up, right?
Yeah, exactly. Giants, Patriots, 49ers, and Jets round out the top 10 there.
I'll tell you what, the Patriots will weigh down what I'm about to ask you, but what's remarkable is Lance talked about how little winning matters here. In that 15-year window, Golden State has 3 championships. Am I right about that?
I think.
Yeah, 5 NBA finals and 3 championships.
Okay.
The Cowboys haven't won one. The Knicks haven't won one. The Lakers have won in 15 years, too.
2020 and, if you go back to 11, yeah.
Yeah. The Yankees.
1.
The Rams.
1.
The Giants. Back to 11 gets you
maybe 1.
Now the Patriots reeled off some. The 49ers.
None.
The Jets.
None.
I mean, look at that. I mean, how many teams in your top 10 are none?
Yeah.
And some are just 1. I mean, it's like just shows you literally in professional sports, it is very difficult to buy championships.
Yeah. By the way, it's good to be Denise DeBartolo York and John York. They own the 49ers there. Jerry Jones is listed as the sole owner up there. There's a partnership that owns the Golden State Warriors.
Okay.
Steinbrenner family, Buss family. Stan Kroenke's one of those standalone guys there. Robert Kraft's a standalone guy.
Take number 10 out because it's the obvious answer, but outside of that, the other 9 teams based on valuation and it not equating to championships, I mean, what is the most disappointing of those franchises?
Truthfully, now it is probably turned into...
I think it's got to be the Knicks the Yankees.
I was going to say the Yankees. It's probably turned into the Yankees.
I mean, but the Knicks...
I think the Yankees are consistently better than the Cowboys.
Yeah, but...
the Knicks are... they're good now, but, over... how many years? The Knicks have been bad.
Yeah, but I just don't consider the Knicks...
But they're always top 5 when it comes to valuation.
Yeah. They just don't spend their money. The Cowboys, you're right, Brown's the biggest disappointment.
I mean, they haven't won a Super Bowl since '95, guys, and I mean they are going to be at the top of this list.
I don't know if you know this, San Francisco hadn't won one since '94.
The 49ers, I know, but they're at least not number one.
Yeah,
they're a solid $3.5 billion behind the Cowboys.
At least they're getting there, though. The 49ers have gotten there.
Yeah.
That feels different.
And that's kind of like the Yankees and where are the Dodgers, by the way?
How are they not up
Because the
there?
Dodgers parking lot, I know this sounds crazy, but I saw what the value of the parking lot was when Magic Johnson was part of the early ownership group, and that's probably been a decade, 15 years now. But, I mean, the parking lot's worth like $1 billion.
Something makes me think that they are 11. I really do.
They got to be. I mean, they have to be.
Well, to spend the kind of money they're spending, they better be 11.
I mean, they owe – I saw they owe – it was
they're 14th.
4 or 5 deferred payments equaling $1 billion on their payroll right now.
Wow.
Here's Forrester. Next group is Dolphins, Eagles, Raiders.
We're still not winning much.
Then the Dodgers, Commanders, Bears. Manchester United is the first non-American. And I remember when this list, not by Sportico, it's only the second year they did it, but Forbes used to do it. And the European soccer leagues
were like the top
They
ones.
were near the top.
Yeah.
And that's not the case anymore.
Well,
So
I would say, I would think, Jim, the rise in the 15 years is solely related. I think it's inversely proportional. As TV has gotten more difficult to catch eyeballs, the only thing that works on TV consistently right now is professional, or really live sports, not just professional, but live sports.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's the case in Europe.
May or may not be. I would think if it's the case in America, it's the case in Europe. But
100% in the U.S., yeah.
So, I mean, TV dollars have driven a lot of this money that you're seeing right there.
Yeah. Before we do Four Downs, tell us about our friends at ImageCraft, and then after Four Downs, we'll get back to the big basketball happening this weekend. A little something from Bruce and Nate coming up in a second.
We got more Lenardi, too. New Lenardi, if you want it. I got new
right.
Lenardi.
We'll save that for after Four Downs.
ImageCraft.net is the website to go to learn more about ImageCraft, where you print more, you spend less. They've got all the low-cost printer and copier supplies from all the major brands. HP, Brother, Canon, Dell, Lexmark, Konica Minolta, Kyocera, Ricoh, Sharp, Xerox, all of that from ImageCraft. They've got free same-day delivery on all in-stock items in the Birmingham Metro. They've got free shipping outside the area. You can shop in-store or online. In-store, Gadsden Highway, just down from the Pinnacle Shopping Center in Trussville, where when you mention the next round, you get 10% off. Online with coupon code TNR10 to save 10% there at imagecraft.net. Print more, spend less with ImageCraft. Go to imagecraft.net.
And Four Downs brought to you by our friends at Slice.
5 great locations. Look, you're looking for a place to take the family, dinner this weekend, lunch or dinner. Stop at one of those 5 locations of Slice, Lakeview, Vestavia, Montevallo, Crestline, newest location right there in Edgewood. Local pizza, local ingredients. To view that entire menu, you can go online right now. Go to slicebirmingham.com.
First down.
So, Allie Larder, 49 years old.
She's aged very well.
She has. More obnoxious Taylor Sheridan character. Angela Norris, played by Allie Larder on Landman, or Beth Dutton of Yellowstone.
Beth Dutton was literally the reason I did not watch Yellowstone. I watched the first episode, which was like a feature-length film. I'll never forget, we were still in radio at Jocks. I came in, you guys had both watched it already, and I said, this Beth Dutton character, is she a big part of the show? And y'all both laughed at me. Like, is she a big part of the show? Yeah, Brown, she's his wife. And I was like, then I am out. I cannot handle that one.
Yeah, I've never seen a second of Landman, but there's no way that Allie Larder's character in that is more obnoxious than Beth Dutton.
Yeah, she's not, but it's kind of close because of the daughter combination.
It kind of feels like they were trying to replicate Beth Dutton.
Yeah, and I just always wonder, man, what are the women like in Taylor Sheridan's life for him to write these characters? Allie Larder's easy to look at, so I'm going to say Beth Dutton is more obnoxious.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Both play their role like the obnoxious lady when the first 2 seasons of White Lotus, but I'll go. I enjoyed the Landman lady better.
Second down.
Jason Aldean, 48 years old today. Jason Aldean, Jason Bateman, ultimately better career.
For me, Jason Bateman, not a huge Jason Aldean fan.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about his music. I will say I ate in his restaurant in Nashville and it's surprisingly good.
Yeah.
I had zero expectations.
He has a lot to do with that, right?
Oh, very little. Jason,
his money.
How much can we buy your name for and put it on this restaurant? Very Low Expectations was actually really good the day I ate it. But I am a
That's
huge...
the name of it? Very Low Expectations?
It should be. Jason Aldean.
But I mean, is he pretty big in the music scene? I mean, I saw where he was like vocalist of the year a couple of times.
I mean, Jason Aldean's a big country act. But
was he vocalist of the year or entertainer of the year?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Tyler's
what
got
does it matter? I mean,
pictures
are there great vocalists in country music?
Yes,
there are, but that was going to shock me if he was one of them.
Yeah. It's Tyler showing pictures of Jason Aldean's. Of course, it's like every single restaurant on Broadway. It's got a rooftop bar and a good restaurant.
Talking to our friend Kicking It Coolers, Richard Holland, and I think he told me that, they're completely redoing like downtown Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge, and he said it's more like bachelorette party friendly, but they've got a Jason Aldean's down there.
Oh, so he's going to franchise now,
in
Jim.
Gatlinburg?
Yeah.
What? There is a
he
country singer's restaurant in Gatlinburg that I've been to. It was like Old Red. I don't know who.
That's Blake Shelton. He's got one of those in Nashville too.
That's pretty good food.
That's one of his big songs is Old Red.
So Shelton has a Old Reds in Gatlinburg too?
Oh, maybe. I don't know. That's what Tyler said.
Or maybe it was the Old Red instead of the Jason Aldean's. I don't know. It was one of them.
Yeah.
Anyway, they're building a bunch of bars.
Now, I've never been to Old Red that I can remember on Broadway. I've never eaten there, I know, but I guess I've been in the bar. But of course, Eric Church has got a place now. I mean, every big country music singer's got a place on Broadway.
Jason Bateman, interesting career. teen actor, and then really disappeared for a while.
I love
and made this resurgence over the last decade plus, and everything he does is fantastic.
I'll watch almost anything he's in.
Yeah, one of the best
Jason
Christmas
Bateman.
movies ever, and Office Christmas Party.
Yeah, he is hilarious. So
Carry On's also a good Christmas movie now too, in that Die Hard vein.
I did not like Carry On. I thought it was okay. He had a good mullet.
Yeah, he did. Interesting look.
Third down.
Luka, 26 years old today.
From Birmingham radio fame?
No.
Luka Doncic?
Yeah, Luka Doncic, 26 years old today. Ultimately better career, Luka Doncic or Joe Burrow? And I think Burrow's obviously got him now because he's got a national championship and a Heisman. Burrow's been to a Super Bowl. Luka's been to a finals. Now, we were told by the Mavericks he's going to eat and drink his way out of the NBA, right?
That's what they said.
Catastrophic, which would be death, in my opinion, when I saw that one.
That is.
Last night, I can't read lips. He hit a fadeaway three that dropped in there, and I swear he said, "Give me a hit of hookah and give me another beer."
Yeah. I mean, they act like he's a weekend away from Brian Windhorst.
Yeah. I mean, the guy's still dropping threes.
There he is, man.
Yeah.
Windy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Windy, man.
I
He came
do
on the
too.
show. He's a nice guy.
No, he's a nice guy.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna say Joe Burrow because I do not care about the NBA.
I don't care about the NBA either, but I think Luka is probably, because he's in a better franchise, going to win more. Is that the question you asked?
No, I'm just saying, ultimately the better career. I think Joe Burrow is so freaking good. I think Luka is too. Joe Burrow, I still think might be the purest quarterback we've got. I'm going to lean Burrow, but I do trust the Lakers organization a lot more than the Bengals.
Is Luka a top 10 Birmingham radio personality of all time?
I don't think
Luka
so.
also doesn't have a Batmobile.
And Burrow does?
Yeah, Joe Burrow bought a Batmobile. I
did not
had
know
it
that.
in track
The one
a while
from the
back.
Bane movie.
I remember that now.
Luka
Yeah.
from the 90s, top 10 personality.
Yeah, in the 90s.
Yeah, in the
if
90s.
you just do the 90s, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, you mentioned Bane. I mean, you gave me your what was the?
Yeah, let's hear it, Brown.
You did
Tim
a story
loves it.
earlier that is often told. What was it just a few minutes ago? So give me the Bane.
I don't know what you're
the
talking
Bane
about.
impersonation.
Bane?
Yeah.
Was he the character like when Hines Ward is running down the field?
Yes.
Yeah, and he goes, "Oh, Pittsburgh." Yes, yeah.
Tim loves that.
I know he does.
so bad.
Is Beth Dutton that story again? I was like, give me the Bane thing. It works out. I love the Bane impersonation. That's my favorite.
Fourth down.
Do you really?
I do.
Oh, no
I know you
I
guys.
never can do it.
People out there that don't have plans
It's like
probably
almost a
are
Yoda voice.
going to plan to celebrate now. I don't know if you realize that February 28th is National Science Day.
I did not realize that.
But if I asked you your best science movie or movie involving science,
okay,
and I'll just throw one out there because I'll go a little DNA, I'll go Jurassic Park. I just thought it was so fascinating in 93 to see them extract the DNA from mosquitoes. It seemed believable at that point. I don't know why.
Best movie involving science.
I mean, Interstellar. I mean, you go any of these Christopher Nolan things.
I'll just go weird science. But that was really
Scott
good.
has the same answer in the chat.
You get to
Have you guys watched it lately? Because, I was talking to a buddy last night, and we were talking different 80s movies, our man C. Stu. And Weird Science, as good as John Hughes was, it does not hold up.
Oh, Weird Science is awesome.
It is awful now. It was great as a teenager.
What about Back to the Future?
It holds up.
Back to the Future holds up.
But is that
I'm gonna
science?
Go with,
Doc Brown?
Yeah.
No, it's true. Doc Brown.
He's
Yeah,
got
good
a lab
point,
coat
Milton.
on, Brown. Come on.
I'm going with Flubber with Robin Williams.
Oh, my gosh.
He's having to get plutonium from terrorists.
Yeah, Milton, I
true.
might go that is better than Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
It
Good-
is.
Good answer,
Yeah.
Milton. Back to the Future.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
good.
I'm with Melton now. I didn't think about that.
Now, you
back
guys
then.
love Interstellar, though, right?
I've never watched
I
Interstellar.
prefer Oppenheimer as the better science movie.
Oh,
Okay.
well, look at Melton
Oppenheimer's
coming
good.
strong here. Yeah. I haven't watched Oppenheimer either.
Yeah.
you
Is
didn't
that
see
science
that.
splitting atoms?
Don't make fun of Brown.
Science we didn't study.
Is that it? Is that 4?
Why did you turn on me in this one segment?
Yeah.
The rest of the day has been fine. This one segment. doesn't
Turn
matter.
on you. I
Have you been a
complimented
75 today? That's all I want to know.
I complimented you on the. I love that impersonation. I always when I do it, I sound like the Hamburglar or something.
I didn't know the Hamburglar had a voice.
Yeah,
to be
one
honest.
of, one of those McDonald's characters back in the day.
Grimace.
Ooh, people have got them.
At least you got the city right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Brown says Pittsburgh. Right?
Well, they're playing in Heinz
Dunaway just
Field.
grabbed his ankles on his Bane impression.
They are playing. I mean, Heinz Ward is running down the sidelines at Heinz Field. It's so obviously Pittsburgh.
Batman has never been set in the city of Pittsburgh
Well,
one
yeah.
time throughout his entire history.
Hey, tell Heinz Ward that.
Ugh.
In fairness to Brown, he usually sets Gotham when he does it. That is 4 Downs, brought to you by Slice.
Yeah, 5 great locations, lunch or dinner all weekend, from the Hot Mama to the Soul Pie, the Bajalia Special. You're going to love it. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
All right. And the viewing menu today, he'll tell us about Michelson in just a second. What are you watching tonight, Tyler? I mean, it's Friday night. This is when most of Americans go to a movie. I feel like you've already gone to 4 this week. Probably not a movie night on Friday night for you, is there?
Actually, I didn't get to Riff Raff last night, so I'll be seeing that. But
yes.
I think other than that, that's all the new movies for me. So in theaters tonight, you can go see Last Breath. It's a movie I've been really praising because it's a really tense ride the whole way through, and great performance from Woody Harrelson. If you want to stay in tonight at 7 p.m. on TBS, you've got my favorite biopic of all time, Straight Outta Compton. Sunday, you've got the Oscars at 6 p.m. Make sure to tune into the Meltdown Monday to hear me and Tim's coverage of that. And then if you want to watch just like a goofy, fun movie, this weekend Peacock is adding Snakes on a Plane to its catalog.
Wow.
I tried it, man.
Never
I made
watched
it
it.
almost through Snakes on a Plane. There's too many snakes.
There's a lot of snakes on that plane.
I mean, there was a lot.
if only the title. had
Yeah, I
given
mean,
it
if we
away.
just would have had 3 or 4.
Yeah, but I mean, in reality, how many snakes would actually be on a plane ever? They would have never let that many on the plane,
Correct.
right?
Yes.
Oh, well, you got to watch the movie.
Yeah, I
Or
mean,
it
it's
was
a deep
planned out,
plot.
so.
And-
Or are you
how-
telling me at some point was there a man snake and a female snake on the plane, and they?
No, there's a man and, the old, hey, we're going to go to the bathroom, Mile High Club.
Yeah.
Snake creeps in on that.
Uh-oh.
Wow.
That's a game ender.
Have you guys ever
Mile High
seen
Club.
anybody come out of the bathroom or go in the bathroom together?
Not on
together,
a plane, no.
No.
I don't know how you make it work. Like, I can barely fit in that son of a bitch
I
myself.
think that is all urban legend. I don't think that ever exists.
Oh, I think
You
it's
gotta-
happened.
normal
You got to
bathroom.
use the small sink area at that point.
Oh, look at Dunaway.
I'm just saying.
Physics.
Have you dreamed about this? Or?
No, but I'm just saying. I've looked at it in there a couple times.
See, I think
You gotta
that's a little person's game.
You got to use
Yeah.
the sink area. Right foot is up on this wall here.
Oh, wow.
Left foot stays near the door area
Get
to
out
make
the
sure it doesn't
whiteboard,
pop open.
I remember
You gonna demonstrate?
we had a guy we used to work with, and they actually chartered a plane somewhere, and the charter company was like, dude, there's feet prints on top of the
I don't know how those go.
yeah.
Can I ask a question for the chat room? Zach just simply asked, and either Tyler or Tim can go with this. That Hooker movie going to win the Best Picture?
Since Dune 2 definitely won't, I hope Anora wins.
Oh, is that the name of the movie?
I liked
really enjoyed
Nora.
it.
I thought it was. I know Melton hated it. It was.
Yeah.
It was a little more than I thought it would be.
It was Yeah, it was graphic.
After I saw the movie, I went and got tested for an STD.
Yeah,
That's
you
how much
should've.
I hated the movie. Yes.
Yeah, and she was so obnoxious, but she played obnoxious great.
Oh, it was great. But I also really liked her in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood when she was in the Manson cult in that movie.
Yeah. I go more if we're talking Oscar movies, The Substance, our girl Margaret Qualley.
What was the name of the movie y'all were talking about again?
Honora.
Yeah, you would love it.
Did they release it in IClimax?
Oh my gosh.
God.
Oh, no.
Oh my gosh.
IMAX.
Oh, I got it.
Oh yeah. We
that
understand.
was the joke.
Have you boys seen the majority of the Best Picture nominees?
I've seen all but one, and Tim tried to get through the one that's on Netflix, but couldn't make it through
I made
the
it
first
through
half.
9.5 of the movies.
It's such a weird movie. So I've seen the majority of them.
That is the Michelson Laser Vision viewing menu of the day. Tell us about Michelson Laser Vision.
Yeah, Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business. If you're wanting to find out if you're a potential candidate, 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. They're going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. 0 to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. For more information, michelsonlaservision.com.
Bruce Pearl on what makes it so tough playing at Kentucky, and Nate Oates on the change in his lineup that has made a difference on offense when we come back, and trash still to come right here on the next round.
Follow LT on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Things fall apart. There's even a book about it, but that doesn't mean you have to break the bank to fix them. Ryan Brown here for the next round. Our friends at Mortgage Right have a new renovation option that will make repairs and other home improvements easy. If you've recently purchased a home and find yourself short on cash, or you're looking to buy a fixer-upper, Mortgage Right's renovation loan program can help you spruce up your space. Repairs can be made to your roof, plumbing, flooring, and more with the help of top-notch mortgage professionals. So get your fix by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR. And MLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
This hour of the next round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Looking for a great place for that boring meeting? Leave the office and go to the Golfus. What about corporate events like board meetings, sales meetings, customer appreciation events? How about the Golfus? Watch parties for football and basketball, parties for birthdays or couple showers. The Golfus is a great place for those. The Golfus has Birmingham's best golf simulators and man caves in Vestavia on Highway 31, opening soon in Trussville and on Highway 280. Bring whatever you want to eat or drink, even bring your own clubs. Get out of the office. Go to the Golfus. Book your spot now at thegolfus.com.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service. Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemphill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemphill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemphill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, Trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Hang out with the Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Final half hour of the live show today. Don't forget Bama and Bourbon with Aaron Suttles and LT is out for you, as it is every week. Great information there inside Alabama Athletics as they get ready to roll to spring practice next week. We talked about a little Alabama football earlier. Maybe ask these guys about a question or two before we get out of here after trash coming up. And then, of course, the new basketball show out this morning where we talk about, I actually have a portal pick that I'd love to see Alabama go get for next year's basketball team on the basketball show. If you want to go see that, Little T has her favorite one she'd love, dream scenario to get for Auburn next year. And we preview the big games, which we're about to do here, brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill as well. Tell us about Hemp Hill.
205-229-2090. Trust the name Birmingham's trust since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling issues. Any of these arise in your home or business, our friends ready to serve you. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Hard to stop a train. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
All right, so hot and cold. Auburn's hottest team in America. They're going to their coldest venue ever, Rupp Arena. Here's Bruce Pearl on why Rupp Arena is such a difficult place to play for Auburn.
What makes it so difficult to play up there?
That wasn't me, by the way.
That they're usually good.
Yeah, I would say that, obviously it's a huge building. They have a very, very knowledgeable fan base. They know the game. They have an expectation to beat you. They're always very, very talented. Coach Pope, they're the fifth best offensive team in the country. He's a brilliant offensive coach, and he's got a dangerous team because of the way they shoot the basketball. And they run the most advanced 5-out system, in our game today. But I think the reason why we have not won there is because historically Kentucky's been the best team in the league, and historically we haven't been one of the best teams in the league over a long period of time. But we're trying to put a dent in that right now.
I like Auburn tomorrow. I don't know how you feel right now. You can get his plays at lanceslock.com.
Yeah, I don't know about it.
Play him tomorrow. It's an early game. I don't know. Do you play 12 noon games?
Yeah.
in basketball?
I think Auburn wins the game. Will they cover? We'll see tomorrow because I think that number is going to come out around 5.5.
Feels like a 90-81, 90-79 type game.
But
Auburn wins.
Bruce, he did solve the riddle there. It's pretty simple. There's a reason they're 2-50 because Kentucky has been historically dominant in the conference, and Auburn has
been historically bad.
Yeah, one of the worst.
Yeah, slipped around a little bit. Now, Alabama going to Knoxville. I don't know Alabama's record in Knoxville all time, but this feels like at least a more complete team inside and out for Alabama going up there to battle Rick Barnes, always stingy defense. Ziegler and a couple of those guys are great defensive players, especially on the perimeter. Nate Oates has done something offensively where he goes with a 3-guard lineup a lot now, where you have Philon at the point, you've got Sears, and you've got Chris Youngblood out there, and it's made the offense flow a little bit better. Philon out, Holloway in, a little speedier on offense. Here's what Nate likes about that new rotation on the floor.
Yeah, the three of those guys that kind of create, didn't realize had 20 assists combined between the three of them. So trying to keep two of those guys in and having CY play with two of those guys a lot more and having Mark play with at least one more of those other two, I think has significantly helped our offense, helped the ball move. I don't think we can plan on scoring 111 every night, but I think it's been good. We need to get our defense, but defense sometimes takes a little bit of a hit when you go a little smaller, so we got to make sure we've got the right matchups to play that way, if you will. But offensively, it's been a better look for us to have, more creators in there to create shots. CY's been more efficient. Jaren's been more efficient. Mark Sears been more efficient. It's helped a lot of guys on offense since we've kind of made that change in the lineup and kept the rotations a certain way like that.
There was some talk in the chat room earlier about Stevenson actually improving from outside, but it seems like now he's struggling at the rim a little bit at times.
Yeah.
Which that has been an issue for Alabama.
Grant Nelson's the one that is struggling offensively. And
he is.
I forget who I was talking with. It may have been Taylor on the drive back from Auburn or something, but it may have been on the basketball show. I can't remember if we were on air or off air talking about it, but that dunk he had in the semifinals against UConn last year was one of the more athletic plays I'd seen anybody make in an Alabama uniform, when he drove from the three-point line and dunked over the big guy for UConn in the semifinal game. I mean, it was. I think
he had one of. I mean, he's got great athleticism. You saw one of the dunks against State.
Well, against Auburn, he tried to launch from the free throw stripe. You remember that one against Auburn? I thought that was a little bold.
Also in that State game, he's stumbling and falling and losing the ball sometimes, and he just feels like, I feel like he is pressing offensively right now.
And doesn't need to.
Yeah.
You know, he's one of those guys, he can fall into it, do other things, you know, use your length, help out on the hustle board, some of those other categories.
Well, you want the hard hat, like he's doing everything you want from a teammate. It just feels like offensively, like his shot doesn't look as smooth as it did last year.
The good news is everybody else seems like they're hitting their shots right now, but I can't wait to see Zakai Ziegler and Mark Sears, that battle tomorrow. Chaz Lanier. I mean, all these guards are going to be out on this court. And this Tennessee team, 14-1 at home, obviously one of the best teams in college basketball, and they're playing their best basketball right now.
Tennessee is?
Yep.
I wish I hadn't said that. I like Alabama in that game.
I think I like Tennessee in that game just to win. I don't know about covering.
Offensively, Alabama's playing their best basketball right now. I'll
Yeah.
give you that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. By the way, you want my little 14 parlay?
Oh, here we go. You writing this down?
It's money line tomorrow.
All right.
Money line tomorrow.
These are just straight money line.
Straight money line.
Didn't bet the Super Bowl, but he's already on a Friday. He's already got his Saturday without even
We don't know the numbers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you certain?
Straight money line.
But are you okay?
Yep. Auburn, Alabama, Florida, and Georgia beats Texas.
Because you know what is really easy to do?
Where's the Georgia game?
Austin.
What is really easy to do is to correctly predict 4 games in this year's SEC.
Oh, yeah,
so
that is easy.
That is a smart parlay out of you.
How much are you going to play on this?
Probably $1.
Well, then I was going to say, hand me 50 cents. And
all right. That gets us to Lenardi's latest, and then we'll go to trash. Tell us what Lenardi is saying. You had a point you wanted to bring up from that.
No, I figure people like to know where Lenardi likes teams. So he's got Arkansas last 4 byes. Arkansas is now firmly in. They don't even have to go to Dayton.
Their number went from 30% making up to 60% making the field.
Now, in Dayton, he has got 2 SEC teams, Oklahoma and Texas. By the way, how about these brands he's got in Dayton? Oklahoma, Indiana, Ohio State, and Texas. That'd be one of the best Dayton lineups they've ever had.
Yeah, I mean, as far as jerseys,
first 4 out, Georgia is at the top of that list, right in front of North Carolina. So
Georgia's out, but so close.
They are the next one into Dayton. But Georgia and Texas play, so that would swap that.
One's in and one's out.
Yeah, I mean that would swap that in his bracket.
So that would get Georgia to 5-11 if my mybookie.ag bet hits tomorrow with Georgia winning in Austin.
Yeah,
what a season!
And that would send Texas. Probably they won't recover from that.
No,
I think they're completely out after that one. Yeah. He has got Alabama as a 1 still, so as 1s are Auburn, Duke, Alabama, and Houston, as you might imagine. And this is the part of Lenardi where I think he gets a lot right, but these are almost impossible to predict. But he's got 13 SEC teams in, and I was just going to point this out. He's got Auburn and Alabama both playing in Lexington. That's not the hard part to predict. It's where they see the teams with you. He's got Auburn playing, obviously one of the play-in game winners and getting the winner of Illinois Vanderbilt. So already in the second round, he's got a potential SEC rematch.
Can't avoid it if you got 13 or 14
you got 13 in. He's got Alabama playing Bryant and then would get the winner of Creighton Gonzaga. Yeah. Alabama plays Creighton all the time.
Yeah, that would not show up in the bracket. They would flip Creighton and who was Illinois playing on the other side?
Illinois was playing Vanderbilt.
Yeah. Alabama Vandy played 1 time this year or twice?
Alabama Vandy played 1 time.
Okay. If they played twice, they can't match up in the second round. So
is that a rule?
By rule, yeah.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah. Now they may have to bend that rule at some point, but when they go conference in the round of 32, They try to go teams that only played once
I
during the
didn't know
regular
that.
season.
I learned something on the show today, Jim.
So that's latest Lenardi. You can go check it out. It's all over our Twitter feeds and such like that. Trash Now, brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right. Tyler, entertain us, man.
Father of two, Dale Decker, suffers from a rare and seemingly incurable condition that leads to him suffering up to 100 unwanted orgasms a day.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
Hey, always buying season. Proud to partner with our friends at Mortgage Right, the mortgage experts. 205-900-7200. You can always go online. MortgageRight.com. NMLS 2239. Equal housing lender. We start first. Boy, this sounds painful. A German soccer match was canceled before kickoff after a referee suffered an unexpected injury. What do you think happened?
Well, you said painful.
Yeah, I thought you were going to tell me that they had to delay the game because one of the fans was, they separate with those chain link fences, and he had got a body part caught on the chain link fence trying to move from one section to the other.
This is going to be equally as painful.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a friend that happened to. I've told you that before.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Barbed wire fence, was it?
No. It was a chain link fence. He tried to climb and got the boys stuck on the fence and had to go to the ER.
The stock photo is a red card. The referee got red carded?
I'm going to say a player was warming up his legs and accidentally kicked him in the man regions.
Worse. I'm going to say once in a lifetime he fell on a light bulb. What happened?
Canceled before kickoff after a ref suffered an unexpected injury after getting a bite on his testicle from a player's kid.
I'm
trying to explain.
I'm going to need details.
On Sunday, FC Taxi Duisburg and SV Rotweiss Molheim were set to compete as part of a routine pre-match protocol. Referee Stefan Kahler conducting ID checks. One of the young kids, was running around, the son of an FC Taxi player. As Kahler continued his pregame duties, kid came up and bit him on the testicle. Quote, while I was checking the FC Taxi player's ID, small child was doing warm-up exercises alongside the players, came closer and closer to me. Suddenly, to my complete surprise, gave me a sharp bite in my left testicle.
Sharp.
The injury was so severe enough that he was in significant pain. They had to call off the match before it even began, and they had to drag him to the hospital.
Man, I got to tell you,
kept his nut, though.
That's a win.
That's good news.
Yeah, man, that's a bite to it. I mean, the graze hurts.
Yeah.
A bite.
I mean, sometimes you just cross your legs wrong and it hurts. I can't imagine a bite. It's what?
Problematic there.
Yeah.
Where are you going there?
Well, I don't understand why the young kid did that.
I'm with you. I think if a kid's come, this is going to end up as a trash open. I think if a child's coming up to bite my scrotum, I can stop them before they get there.
Yeah, but you think about, he's checking IDs. You got a kid running around, maybe circling you up, and you're like, this is a little weird. He's a little close. And then he bites him in the nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not only a new open, but also Happy New Year to everybody watching Taylor's Year in Review.
2 moviegoers got an extra taste of action Tuesday night, not just from their choice to view Captain America Brave New World. During a showing of the latest Marvel flick at a Liberty Cinema in downtown Winnetachee, Washington, the theater ceiling collapsed onto the audience.
Oh, no.
According to local officials. Now, the Winnetachee Fire Department responded about 8 p.m. on Tuesday, finding 2 people in the attendance. It said in a statement that no injuries were reported. So were there only actually 2 people in the theater?
Tyler and who else?
That's correct.
Yeah, Tyler and Melton.
This is how we'll lose Tyler.
Yeah. Do y'all sit together when you go to movies?
No, Milton likes the back, and I typically like to be towards the front.
So y'all will actually go together and then pair off and then circle back after.
Truthfully, I'm emotionally closer to a female than anybody else on this show, not named Taylor and Emily Grace.
Okay.
You got Taylor beat.
I'm very. I would agree on this. I'm very touchy-feely. Even if it was me and you, Tyler, I would want space between us. Like, it's just when I go to the movie, I don't even like sitting right next to Maggie. I like a chair between Maggie and me. I like to have a place for my popcorn.
I'm with you. I like sitting alone.
Yeah.
Now, you don't, if you go to the theater where the armrest pops up in the middle, you don't even pop that up so you and Maggie can...
Depending on the movie. Is it an intense thriller,
right.
action figure? No, I want space. If it's a horror film, I don't want to be there
anyway. So I know you guys talk about the theater that I typically go to that's closest to my house is the worst respected theater out there.
It's a dump.
I'm not used to getting the seating assignment. So when we went to see Becoming Led Zeppelin on Sunday, they were like, what do you want? It was only the front row and then 2 seats right here. So I was like on the 3rd row, which kind of sucked. But I couldn't.
Did you say there are that many people going to this
That's
movie?
what I said, yeah.
And they said yes?
Yeah. They're like, all these seats are sold. And it was completely sold out.
Oh, wow. Good for them.
And then some older ladies sat in the front. Like, I don't know how you do that.
Yeah. See, I don't like sitting that close. I typically go like 4th row.
So basically, where this firefighter is standing, that next set of rows behind him is where you would want to be?
This is a different setup. The theater I go to is more elevated seating.
The one right up here's got straight recliners. It's fantastic.
That's
I love
where
that
I
one.
spend my Friday
Where
nights.
I was Sunday.
Titanic, I watched on the very front row. Where
really?
Yeah, like
because you went the first
the
night.
ship broke in half.
Because you were trying to look up Kate Winslet's dress.
No, that's where we had to sit.
Trying to be king of the theater.
It was all packed, so that's the only place we could sit. It was before assigned seating.
Jim,
Snapped in half. I had to do this. I had to like somebody screamed. I had to look up here to see them as they started to fall off the top of the ship, and I watch them fall into the icy water.
Jim was so close to
yeah,
getting a life
it was
vest
one
on.
of those that you had to look.
How
on the side of the screen.
miserable was it? And that's not like a 90-minute film.
No,
that's like an epic. How miserable was it watching that on the front row?
Your neck hurt.
But it would be like Rose would say something on the boat, and you'd have to look over here to Leo in the water. I mean, it was like a tennis match.
I still can't get over the space that you have between you and Maggie. When y'all go to the drive-in, you take separate cars?
We don't do that.
Hey, this is when they go to a movie together, Melton.
Yeah.
But no, seriously, in the drive-ins when we did go with kids, we would. She would oftentimes sit on the tailgate in my truck. I would have.
Wait, when did y'all go to drive-through? The drive-ins is like something in the 70s.
No, they've got them around here now.
It used to be one out near the Meadows
Yeah.
that we would go to all the time, and then they opened the one in Leeds.
I would love to go to one. So there's one open right now?
Yeah, it's
I
over,
didn't know anything about it.
It's over by like the shops of Grand River.
Yeah, the Grand
right?
River shops.
Multiple screens.
Is it new movies or is it?
Yeah, it's new movies.
Double
No
features,
idea.
yeah.
That thing's been open for
No
a
idea.
while. Yeah.
Fantastic with a truck.
Yeah, it opened up pretty soon or right around the same time that the one in Harpersville closed.
So when you're trying to get outdoors, is that where you go?
I haven't been to the drive-in in forever. That'd be fun.
Krusty wants to know if at the end were you trying to climb on the door with Rose?
Yeah.
Just trying to get in the back seat.
I tried to catch that diamond, though, when she dropped it right past my head. By the way, from Carrie, who watches and listens to our show, because you guys told me the movie Purple Rain is coming back into theaters, and you just said Lake Winnebago or whatever, which made me think of Purple Rain in this DM he sent me. Purple Rain was released closer to World War II than today.
Oh, man.
So the Purple Rain release was closer to the end of World War II than it was to where we are today in history. How about that?
I mean, that's
alarming. We're old. We're old.
So the photos you see here, first responders show the movie still being projected on the screen.
Don't stop it.
Heap of snap planks, ceiling tiles covering the floor of the theater. A video from the fire department shows the spread of the long wooden planks poking up towards the gaping ceiling. They said the two individuals heard some pops and cracking. Gentleman stood up, took a peek, walked towards the screen, looked up, and then he said, "Run." That's when things started following.
It's like
Good
being in the
call
movie.
by him. He saved lives.
Yeah.
Next one, a Miami mechanic facing first-degree felony after police say he slapped a cell phone out of the hand of a senior wanting her truck fixed. This led to a black eye. Now, according to the arrest report, Miami Police Department, incident happened in late December. Officers took the mechanic, Ramon Canatorel, into custody on Wednesday. Police say the victim, whose age wasn't specified in the report, left her Ford pickup with Canatorla, 55, in August. He was, quote, unable to fix it, even though she had already given him $1,200. That's when she got upset. Canatoral's brother said Canatorel was away and would, quote, contact her shortly. Report states that the enraged Canatorel showed up soon after to meet with the victim. Quote, "My brother told me that you had the police in front of his house, and now I'm not going to fix your vehicle," police said he told her. Report said Canatorel saw the woman holding her cell phone and, quote, thinking she was either recording him or calling the police. He decided to slap it out of her hand, which struck the victim in the face with the damaged phone and gave her the black eye.
Well, I tell you what, I see a lot of TikToks where people are recording their argument with someone, and I just always think I would never engage in the argument. If you're going to stand there and video,
I'd walk off.
I'm just walking off.
I mean, there's only downsides for
That's
you
right.
at that point because you don't have a way for your side of the
That's
story
right.
to be told,
Yep.
and they can always just start the video whenever.
That's right. They can
And I actually
manipulate the
say
video.
it would be easy to walk off, but you might be more incensed, and you might actually take the phone and throw it.
Yeah, you could.
We all remember the Fire Festival, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Never happened.
Fire Festival 2 is back.
Oh, so wait a minute. But we didn't have one, right?
I get it. Now, when tickets to Second Fry Festival went on sale this week, there was just one concrete detail. It would take place on the Isle Moreas, this tropical island off Cancun. I think it's the Island of Women. That's what they call it. But the festival seems to be repeating its own history as an improvised disaster after the local government denies knowing anything about the festival. Now, according to the tourism director for the Isle of Moreas, Edgar Gasca, quote, "We have no knowledge of this event nor contact with any persons or companies about it." Now, its founder, Billy McFarland, described by Vanity Fair as the poster boy for millennial scamming. Boy, not the way you want to be described, right?
The poster boy, yes.
Convicted of fraud, sentenced to 6 years in prison, later released after 4 years. New York court also awarded $7,200 to each of the 277 attendees. Earlier this week, McFarland appeared on TV to announce kind of a comeback. He went on to say, "Fire 2 is real. My dream is to finally make it become a reality." On its website, Fire is selling tickets for between $1,400 and $1.1 million with vague promises of luxury yachts, soon to be confirmed headline acts, priceless experiences that include diving with whale sharks, mixology sessions, and more credibly, survivalist challenges.
Yeah. If you buy one of these tickets, you deserve to lose every dollar you buy on it. When you lose the money, you deserve it.
It's set for May 30th to June 2nd, but they don't have any of the entertainment set yet.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I got the hiccups.
Yeah, that's
I seem
weird.
to remember that being a problem last time.
That is correct,
Up
Elliot.
until the weekend before it was supposed to happen.
Hey, what did they have to do just for a simple bottle of water?
It was not something that was worth the water.
Yeah, you needed the water right afterwards.
Taking one for the team, my
That
friend.
was, yes.
That is Trash, brought to you today by our friends at Mortgage Right.
Yeah, the mortgage experts. Look, if you're looking for the home of your dreams, whether it's your first home, your final home, look, no cost or obligation just for these guys' advice. 205-900-7200, NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
So Alabama gets out on the practice field year 2, Kalen DeBoer next week. Other than quarterback, is there a question mark, you guys? I mean, quarterback battle will be interesting. Everyone says Ty Simpson's job to lose there. Give me another thing you're interested in year 2 of practice that you'll be watching.
Well, I want to see, how much more depth you can have at wide receiver. Like
That's weird. I was going to say that.
Jeremy
too.
Bernard.
Yeah. You're 1 and 2.
Really came on as a go-to reliable. Number 2 guy. Your number 1 was obviously Ryan Williams, but it almost kind of flipped as the season went on. It's almost like Ryan kind of hit a ceiling, had some drops. But you've got, those 1 and 2. But who is going to be that 3rd, 4th option?
Yeah, I would include tight end into that too, to see how that develops.
Yeah. You actually lost a couple of your tight ends that are actually at the combine.
That's right. I mean, those guys are good enough that they may be playing on the next level. And you wonder, he has not been on the job very long, but it's not like he's bringing in a new offense. What kind of feedback you hear from Ryan Grubb? It's not like he's coming in to change an offense. He's running the same offense that Kalen DeBoer has run. He's just going to run it a little bit differently than Nick Sheridan did. So you wonder the feedback you get from the offensive players on what that's like.
I actually feel better about the secondary than I did this time last year, but I have more concern about the front 7 than I did this time last year. The defensive line, the edge, and the linebackers.
I mean, Campbell was so good.
He was.
By the way, he ran a good 40 yesterday.
Yeah.
4th best time for linebackers.
But I think, Dunaway, the way you saw that defense play at the end of the year, it was kind of weird. As much criticism as Kane Wommack's defense got at times this past season, by the end of the year, it was Alabama's best unit. I mean, that was the unit you kind of had a little more faith in than you did on the offense.
I'll be watching to see how Deontay Lawson progresses, if he does anything in the spring, but as he gets ready to return, because he's a guy without the injury who would 100% be off at this NFL Combine already. He was destined for the NFL, and because of the injury and his rehab, you get him back another round. I actually feel okay about the offensive line.
I mean, you're going to lose Booker. I saw our buddy Daniel Jeremiah. I texted Tyler yesterday because Daniel Jeremiah had him number 13 to the Dolphins. And I screenshotted that from DJ and sent it to Book and was like, I'm going to need tickets. And he just texted back and said, I got you, my man. He's probably thinking the guy from Birmingham's never going to fly to Miami for a game. So I can go ahead and promise anything I want if I even get drafted by the Dolphins. But, that's a guy that's off to the NFL that, you don't focus on guard as much. Sometimes you focus, obviously, on left tackle. But, boy, he was such a stalwart at the guard position for such a long time for Alabama.
All right. So final thought, of course, we talked all the time about Auburn and Alabama basketball. You can jump on any part of the show today, go back and watch that, or go watch the basketball show for our basketball talk before the tip tomorrow. One more thing brought to you by our friends at Champy's today. Champy's world-famous fried chicken right there on 119 in Alabaster. Sterling, breads that chicken up, brines it overnight, breads that up, and cooks it to order when you go in there. The hand-cut chicken fingers are fantastic. And so much more, the great sides. And I'm telling you, the Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, you've got to try those. When you're by there on 119 in Alabaster, it is Champy's world-famous fried chicken. When we're back on the show on Monday, is Matthew Stafford still part of the L.A. Rams?
I unfortunately don't think so.
Quick.
And I think he's making a mistake. But, again, it's his money.
Meeting today.
Yeah, I think we'll know something in the next 24 hours.
Meeting today. Apparently, there's 90 to 100 million guaranteed offers from both the Giants and the Raiders.
Boy, do you really want to get hit that much and have a losing – you started as your career losing year in, year out with Detroit. It's the way he's going to end his career if he goes to one of those.
That is unfortunate to go from the Rams to those two franchises. Just for money?
Yeah, just for money.
No, I mean, but do you have confidence you're going to win a championship at either one of those places?
No, but
you were close with the Rams.
He's got his Super Bowl. Now it's about the money.
Okay.
I still think
he's made $364 million in his career.
You can't buy the Cincinnati Bengals.
Can't.
With that little money. All right, we're back with you at 9 a.m. Central. Don't forget video platforms after the Auburn game and after the Alabama game for our post-game reaction. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.